Chapter 1157 Integral Experience, Gale. Chapter 1157 Integral Experience, Gale. The Yuanyang clan was located in the center of the Yuanyang mountain range. On the godly mountain, a strange ape cannot be reached, and a strange bird cannot fly. There were countless ferocious demon beasts in the Yuanyang mountain range. It was impossible for even a major power to climb over them. However, the path of martial Dao was unstoppable. All the warriors in the range of millions of kilometers wanted to enter the Yuanyang clan, because only by entering a sect could one go further on the martial path and learn more things. At the same time, he would also be able to obtain more cultivation resources. In the forest, Nyo Dashan ran out of the forest and gasped for breath, as he shouted loudly, "Boss, boss, it's here, right behind your ass." Before he could finish his words, just as Nyo Dashan jumped out of the forest, a few ferocious demon beasts rushed out. It was also at this moment Long Fei moved, wind god leg. The power in his legs exploded out like a bomb, kicking a demon beast right on the head, continuous explosion kick. Bang, bang, bang. The demon beast was kicked and fell to the ground. Long Fei's body dropped and moved his fists, King Kong fists. Crack. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing 2-star monster for obtaining 1100 experience, 80 holy source points, and 1 energy values point. Roar, roar. After a few more roars, the 3 demon beasts all rushed out and pounced towards Xiong Long Fei. Incomparable rage. Just like how Long Fei was their archenemy right now. Long Fei retreated a few steps and muttered, "Why are all the demon beasts in a state of rage? Big Mountain, how did you draw the blame? These demon beasts were too strange. All of them were at full health, but they were all in a frenzied state." Nyo Dashan panted heavily, looked at the blooded rod in his hand, and said, "Boss, didn't you say that if they didn't follow us, they would stab their anus?" "I stabbed him when I got there." Long Fei looked at Nyo Dashan, completely speechless. "You're awesome." While they were talking, Long Fei's right hand fell, and the golden cudgel landed in his hand. A demon beast was smashed to smithereens. Long Fei jumped up high, wind god leg. He heavily kicked down. Boom, boom. The moment they landed, they grabbed the golden cudgels on the ground and swept them again. The remaining 2 demon beasts were swept flying and crashed into a towering tree. They let out miserable growls. The amount of blood on top of his head was almost completely depleted. Dead. Ding, ding. The system sounded out continuously. Long Fei took a look at his energy values, sighed lightly, and said, "I'm already at 800 points, I'm only 200 points away from the secondary violent ghost." 10 days. After killing 800 demon beast, Long Fei leveled up 1 more level from yellow rank level 7. To an ordinary cultivator, a level 1 10 days was akin to flying. However, Long Fei was not satisfied. Even the Yuanyang clan would not be able to handle this kind of leveling speed. It was simply impossible to overturn that person. Long Fei muttered in his heart, "I have to increase my speed again." And then, Long Fei opened up the trading system and checked again. There is anything here, but it just doesn't have a double experience card. "Isn't this too fucking stupid?" Nyo Dashan said, "Boss, do you still want to lure more monsters?" "No need. This is too slow." If this continued, even if 5 years passed, he would still be unable to catch up to that person's cultivation. "Isn't it just a point? Isn't it just a holy source pill? Laozi is giving it his all, that's fine, right?" Long Fei raised his head and swallowed a holy source pill. His holy source rapidly rose in value as he carried his golden cudgel and rushed into the dark forest. Not long later, from the depths of the forest, a few loud explosions could be heard. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The golden cudgel unleashed its might, and with a swing of its staff, those low-leveled demon beasts were instantly killed. They were existences that could not be stopped at all. Long Fei's consumption of holy source was also extremely fast. Ding, ding, ding. His experience points was going wild. His striking energy value was going wild. At the same time, his points were also quickly decreasing. The value of the holy source was also rapidly decreasing. Right now, Long Fei was equivalent to exchanging his points for experience. Die. A 3-star monster was sent flying by Long Fei's staff, and the system sounded out. Half a month passed. Long Fei had already reached the peak of the yellow rank level 9 and his experience points had reached 90%. Long Fei's score went from over 60 million to over 10 million. Not enough. During this half-month, the golden cudgel had never left his hand, and continued to crazily crush him. At the same time, Long Fei was also unceasingly exploring the secrets of the golden cudgel. Golden cudgel is the second stage of evolution for main artifact. Its power is definitely not as simple as a weapon, it definitely has other powers. It was just that he hadn't discovered it yet. What kind of power is it? Golden cudgel, what kind of passive skills are you hiding? Long Fei muttered in his heart. He checked the golden cudgel's attributes once again, but there was still no description. The first stage was the main gun. What was the second stage? Long Fei asked, "System, can't you reveal something?" The system did not respond. It had its principles, and could not be spoken out loud. Huff. All right, system, you have guts. Long Fei was depressed. At this time, Long Fei's energy values had already reached 3,000 points, and according to the Berserk energy standards, he had already reached the 3-rate rampage. What do I need to explode? The 3-rate rampage. Long Fei was a little excited in his heart. At this time, Niu Dashan walked in front of Long Fei and said, "Boss, how exactly did you cultivate? Why did you break through 2 realms in less than a month? I can't even touch the threshold of the first level. From the Water City till now, it has only been a month. When I met you, you were only at the first stage of the yellow rank, but now, you are already at the peak of the 9th stage. How did you do it?" Niu Dashan was very gloomy. He had been cultivating with all his might during this period of time, but it was as if his body was missing something. He was completely clueless about cultivation and had no way of knowing what was going on. Seeing Long Fei becoming stronger bit by bit, he was truly panicked. He also wanted to become stronger. Niu Dashan also did not have any gifted vein in his body, so his aptitude was very mediocre. It belonged to the sort of physique that was basically trash. There was no future on the path of martial arts. Even if one was kicked out of the path of martial arts, it would be difficult to achieve anything in this lifetime. Long Fei also understood this in his heart, but since he had followed him, since she had called him Big Boss, he would definitely take care of it, because this was the first time the Chaos Realm had helped him defend against an injury. Long Fei took out the immortal crystals from Shen Tianha's body and said, "You should be able to use the immortal crystals first, which should be able to help you increase your cultivation by 1 or 2 levels. After you absorb all the energy from the Shen crystal, I'll think of a way." There was only one way to change a person's physique. Blood vein. Chapter 1158, The Power of Golden Cudgel Evolution. Chapter 1158, The Power of Golden Cudgel Evolution. Gifted vein. This sort of thing was naturally born in genes. Some did not. Some people can be activated, some people can spend their whole life trying. Except by birth. There was also a called demon beast. Ordinary demon beast also possessed blood vein S, but these kind of blood vein were unable to fuse together. Only blood vein S were suitable for humans to fuse with. They had blood vein cores in their bodies. Once they obtained them, they could fuse them together, allowing those who did not have gifted vein to fuse them together. They could also replace the blood vein in their own bodies. However, his body would have to completely adapt to this kind of blood vein, otherwise, it would be a waste of time. To Long Fei, he had a lot of ways to get his hands on blood vein. Killing. Berserk. Exchange. All of these things are possible to obtain blood vein S, and his own blood vein is also one of them. No matter how strong your blood vein is, don't get absorbed by me, or else it would be like swallowing light. This was something created by the Yang Huang ancestor himself. However, Long Fei was now considering Niu Dashan's question, what kind of blood vein could he possibly fit in? It required a perfect match to release the blood vein's strongest power. Holding the Shen crystal, Niu Dashan was completely dumbfounded. He was so moved that he had not thought of anything else as he said excitedly, "Shen crystal, these are Shen crystal, too precious. Boss, are you sure you want to give it to me? Boss, this is a Shen crystal." You. Suddenly, Long Fei's brows tightened. He grabbed Niu Dashan and leaped fiercely onto a towering tree that was 4 meters tall and hid within the dense leaves. He made a silent gesture and said, "Don't speak." Boom. Boom. Ha ha ha. Old thing, you can't escape. From the depths of the forest, there came the sound of a few collisions of power. They were extremely thick, and were at least not something that Long Fei's current level could contend against. Niu Dashan instantly held his breath. Long Fei did the same, concealing his own qi. A few seconds later, an afterimage flew out from the dense forest. When he hit a rock, the rock shattered and he tumbled to the ground. Next, another figure flew out, and without waiting for the old man to stand up, he stepped on his chest and revealed an excited smile, and said, "Zhu Tianquan, obediently hand the thing over." The instant the two figures appeared, Long Fei's pupils suddenly contracted, his face turned sinister. "Boss." The middle-aged man who stepped on the old man's chest emitted a gold light. It was very dazzling, and one of the strongest Long Fei had ever seen a boss. "Explode him." Long Fei immediately revealed this thought. 3,000 points of striking energy value. 3-rate rampage. If it was released, what kind of overpowered thing could it produce? Long Fei was excited just thinking about it. Striking energy value was not even 1% of the boss's strength when used on normal demon beast. If it was to be dropped, then naturally, it had to be used on boss. Zhu Tianquan coughed out a few mouthfuls of blood, and said, "You Xiu, you scum of Yuanyang clan, I will never give you this thing even if I die." "Ha ha ha. I'm a scum. I know when to stop. With your head and that thing, I can join the Hellgate, and it will be hard for the Yuanyang clan to escape this calamity. I have to think about my future. Elder Zhu, you should be clear about what the Hell's token represents, right?" Yu Xiu faintly said with a cold smile. Hell's token. It was also known as the Hell's Chase Order. This token represented Hell. It represented death. No one could stop death. It was impossible even for a giant king's Yuanyang clan that was within 1,000,000 kilometers. The expression in Zhu Tianquan's eyes tensed up. He clearly knew what the Hell's token represented, and he actually went looking for this thing in the desolate mountain for the sake of the Yuanyang clan, and said, "Yu Xiu, with this thing, maybe the Yuanyang clan will be able to escape this calamity. You are also an elder of the Yuanyang clan. Don't tell me you can bear to watch the destruction of the Yuanyang clan?" Yu Xiu sneered, "So what if you don't have the heart? So what if he was patient? No one can survive being targeted by Hellgate. Elder Zhu, hand it over obediently. I will give you a quick death. People should not kill themselves. As long as there was such a thing, Yu Xiu would be able to escape this calamity." Zhu Tianquan coughed and blood came out from his mouth. His face became even paler and he said, "I will not give it to you even if I die." Yu Xiu looked at Zhu Tianquan's expression and sneered, and said, "You're really a stubborn old man. You think that I won't be able to get it just because of you? You really think too much. You should know my, Yu Xiu's, methods." As soon as he finished, Yu Xiu's finger turned into a claw, directly grabbing towards Zhu Tianquan who was on the ground. At this moment, the power on Zhu Tianquan's body suddenly exploded, and with the last of his strength, his finger moved, and stabbed into the palm of Yu Xiu's hand. Rumble. A burst of energy shot into Yu Xiu's body. Yu Xiu spat out a mouthful of blood. His body was severely injured. However, he was not dead. Yu Xiu was furious. He stared at Zhu Tianquan and sneered, "Old thing, go and die." A powerful surge of energy came crashing down. Zhu Tianquan felt pain in his heart, and said solemnly, "Could it be that the heavens are going to kill my Yuanyang clan?" It was also at this moment. Opportunity. Opportunity. Long Fei's gaze was like lightning. Not bad, however, for an instant, when Yu Xiu's attention was completely focused on Zhu Tianquan, his power started to surge. With both hands, he tightly held onto the golden cudgel. The golden cudgel hummed as it exploded. Power surged. When Yu Xiu struck his palm towards Zhu Tianquan. Opportunity. Long Fei suddenly rushed out, and suddenly shouted, "Eat this." The golden cudgel's power was unleashed to its highest point. At this moment, Long Fei suddenly felt that a pair of eyes from the golden cudgel had opened up, a pair of monkey eyes. Was it an illusion? There was even a monkey in the golden cudgel. In other words, was the monkey in the golden cudgel the power of the second stage of evolution? Long Fei didn't have time to think about these. The problem he was thinking about now was, "I'm going to kill you." The corner of Yu Xiu's eyes moved, he sensed Long Fei behind him, but he did not take him seriously at all, and sneered, "A mere yellow-level trash dares to sneak an attack on me? Humph. You overestimate yourself." It was extremely disdainful. Because Long Fei's cultivation could not pose any threat to him. Zhu Tianquan suddenly hugged, and fiercely hugged Yu Xiu. Yu Xiu chopped down with his palm. Long Fei also smashed down with his staff. The eyes from within the golden cudgel released a burst of Samisen true fire power, causing the tip of the staff to burn. With an unstoppable force, it heavily slashed at Yu Xiu's head. Buzz. An ear-piercing buzzing sound could be heard. The blood on top of Yu Xiu's head instantly fell to the ground. Instant kill. The system beep began to move, trigger the 3-rate rampage. Explode. Chapter 1159 Demon Ox the Goddess, Blood Vein. Chapter 1159 Demon Ox the Goddess, Blood Vein. Explode. 3,000 energy values were triggered, and a system notification rang out. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 100,000 experience, 7,900 holy source points, and 10 energy values points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 1 supreme soul pill. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Wind Lightning Palm. Do you wish to learn it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the gold-silver colored armor. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Sea Heaven diagram. After a series of berserk attacks, the boss was the boss. The drop rate was different, and with the help of striking energy value, he had dropped even more. But, after getting the berserk series, Long Fei wasn't the least bit interested in these items that dropped. Even if the items that dropped were extremely good, he didn't even spare them a glance as he focused all of his attention on the berserker type. The 3-rate rampage. Ding. Player Long Fei has used 3,000 energy values to trigger 3-rate rampage. Please select the Domain Treasure Series, Primordial Series, Heavenly Court Series, Game Series, Cartoon Series. All the series of choices appeared in Long Fei's mind once again. I've chosen the Universe Unknown series. The Wyman series. Now. Long Fei hesitated for half a second. Try using the Heavenly Court series. Heavenly Court series. Confirm your selection. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Demon Ox God Blood Vein. Huh. You drew the blood vein? Long Fei's heart skipped a beat as he glanced at the blood vein attribute of the Demon Ox the God. His eyes shone brightly. My God, this blood vein's power. It's a heaven-defying capital. I want to exchange for blood vein. Too overbearing. What ancient blood vein, what divine beast, compared to this Demon Ox God blood vein, they were simply trash within trash. There was no way to compare at all. Long Fei never thought that the Heavenly Court series would produce blood vein. Ding. System notification. The affinity between Demon Ox God blood vein and player is 30%. Do you want to replace it? Ding. System prompt. Unable to replace. Long Fei was speechless. Although he said to replace it, he was only joking. He did not really want to replace it, but his interest in the King Bull's blood's powerful strength was filled with temptation. Moreover, even if the 30% fusion rate was successful, Long Fei would still be unable to fully unleash Demon Ox King Ox's blood vein power. However, its attributes were so strong that it was hard to resist. It was only a single drop of blood essence, but it contained an incomparably powerful and formidable power. And then, Long Fei and the rest of the credit exchange system thought in their hearts, let's see how many points you can exchange for. The Demon Ox God blood vein was about to put it on. A blank number appeared in the exchange system. Long Fei secretly bit his tongue. Your sister, 380 million trading points, it's too terrifying. Even if it's the venerable Lord Xiao Yarrow sword, it's also a weapon that can be exchanged for 100 million points. This blood vein's power is too terrifying. The stronger the item, the higher its points exchange. 380 million points. What kind of concept was this? It was several times higher than the Carefree Palace's Empyrean sword. It was extremely terrifying. Ding. Do you want to exchange for it? Long Fei thought of Niu Dashan, who was beside him, and immediately said, the exchange was cancelled. There were no gifted vein in Niu Dashan's body. His aptitude was mediocre. It could be said that, in terms of the martial way, he would have difficulty doing anything in his entire life. At most, his body would be slightly stronger. If he trained with all his might, he would at most be a 9th-level yellow rank martial artist, and it would be difficult for him to break through to the profound rank. With the Demon Ox the God, blood vein, he would be able to soar into the sky. However, this concerned a very important issue. Fusion degree. Long Fei had the system's prompt, so he was clear on the degree of compatibility he had with a kind of blood vein, but Niu Dashan did not. If the compatibility between the King Bull's blood and Niu Dashan was very low, the blood vein would not be able to help it, and would instead harm it. If such a strong blood vein fused into its body, if it was unable to bring out its power, it would cause some damage to the body. Furthermore, once this kind of high-level blood vein enters the body, it would be very difficult to replace it. Niu Dashan's body could not bear it. No rush. Long Fei made up his mind. He glanced at Niu Dashan, who had jumped down from the tree and obtained the excited state of Xian crystal. He is a very easy man to please. Just one Xian crystal was enough to make him extremely excited. As for gifted vein, Niu Dashan never thought of this in his life. Just as Long Fei was thinking about how to understand the compatibility between Niu Dashan and the King Bull's blood, a blooded hand suddenly grabbed Long Fei. Niu Dashan's eyes moved. His reaction was surprisingly fast as he shouted, "Boss, someone is ambushing you." Not waiting for Long Fei to stop, he kicked it with his foot. Bam! Zhu Tianquan was kicked flying and his entire body crashed into a big tree. He was originally holding his breath, but now he only had half a breath left. Niu Dashan stared at Zhu Tianquan and said, "Old man, try your sneak attack again, I'll cripple you." Even Long Fei was speechless. Long Fei laughed bitterly. Just now, he only wanted to talk to me, that's all. Now, you directly crippled him. Niu Dashan scratched his head and immediately rushed forward to help Zhu Tianquan up. Zhu Tianquan's body trembled. He was really afraid that Niu Dashan would give him another kick. Niu Dashan said, "Old man, I am sorry, I did not mean to, but you are too weak, a kick sent you flying." Zhu Tianquan wanted to die. He was now exhausted of his holy source, and his body had collapsed. He simply did not have any power in his body. If not, even 10 Niu Dashan would not be able to compare to a single finger of his. Zhu Tianquan stammered as he looked at Long Fei, who was pointing at his own space ring. This ring, bring along the Yuan Yang clan, give it to the sect master." Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for triggering escort quest. Mission, escort the space ring to the Yuan Yang clan. Grade A, upgradable, time, half a year reward, 600,000 experience points, 10,000 holy source S, obtaining the right to use space ring, obtaining a special item. Ding. Do you accept? Long Fei did not accept it in a hurry. Why? Because he wanted to try and see if he could open the space ring. Long Fei had heard his conversation with Yu Xiu very clearly just now, and it must be for some powerful treasure. Long Fei slowly took off the storage ring on Zhu Tianquan's finger. Zhu Tianquan looked at Long Fei and said faintly, "This ring can only be opened by the sect master's imprint." F***CK. Long Fei secretly cursed in his heart, and then the idea moved. It was unable to enter the space ring, and he had no idea what was inside. Since there was nothing inside the space ring, however, Long Fei looked at Zhu Tianquan and said, "The two of us are slaves, so we don't even have the qualifications to enter the Yuan Yang clan. How can we bring the storage ring to you?" Niu Dashan nodded dumbly. We also want to go to Yuan Yang clan, but we can't. All the sects don't want slaves. Long Fei smiled slightly. It was necessary to rob them while they were on fire. Chapter 1160, Digging a Hole for You to Jump Into. Chapter 1160, Digging a Hole for You to Jump Into. He couldn't get anything from the ring, but he had to get something else, right? No matter what, he was still an elder of the Yuan Yang clan. If he did not take advantage of this time to rob Long Fei, then he would not be Long Fei. As for his life or death, does it have anything to do with him? No. Furthermore, even if Long Fei wanted to save him, he would be unable to do so. Zhu Tianquan took out an order badge from his chest pocket and said, This is my clan elder's order badge. This order badge can allow you to travel unhindered, and can also allow you to participate in the Yuan Yang clan's examination. Niu Dashan's eyes lit up, his face was filled with excitement. Haha, this order badge is too powerful, with it we do not need to worry about not being able to enter the Yuan Yang clan. Old man, you're really great. Just one token was enough to make Niu Dashan extremely happy. The power of the medallion was indeed great. The medallion of the Elder of Inner House was able to move around unhindered in the Yuan Yang clan. However, Long Fei said, So what if I can enter the Yuan Yang clan? We never thought of joining the Yuan Yang clan, and we don't know how far we are from there, in the forest deep in the mountains. If we were to meet any high-level demon beast, we wouldn't even be able to resist, and giving this ring to you would most likely end up dying. Niu Dashan scratched his head as he looked at Long Fei, and muttered softly, Boss, didn't you say you were going to attack Yuan Yang clan? Why did you change your plan all of a sudden? Attack the Yuan Yang clan? Cough cough. Zhu Tianquan almost vomited blood. Long Fei was really worried for Niu Dashan's intelligence. Long Fei said, I was just joking with you. How are the two of us supposed to attack Yuan Yang clan? Niu Dashan immediately laughed foolishly. That's right, it's impossible for the two of us to be a match for Yuan Yang clan. Those guys, I'm really not in a good mood. If I'm strong enough, I'll really kill them all with one hand. He didn't have any shrewdness, so he just said whatever he wanted to say. Moreover, he did not even know what Long Fei meant by his eyes. Seeing that Long Fei's eyes were moving, he asked seriously, Boss, what's wrong with your eyes? Why do you keep twitching? Long Fei. This time, it was not that Zhu Tianquan wanted to vomit blood, it was Long Fei who wanted to vomit blood. Zhu Tianquan's body became weaker and weaker. He could no longer find anyone else in the desolate mountain, and if the storage ring was taken, that would be a huge loss to the Yuan Yang clan. Moreover, judging from the way Long Fei had killed Yu Xiu, he was definitely not a simple person. Wealth comes from danger. This kind of person would definitely not walk the normal path. Maybe it could help him. He could only rely on Long Fei right now and believed that he could enter the Yuan Yang clan. As long as you enter the Yuan Yang clan, you don't have to worry, just 2 slaves. They would definitely be killed. If they were killed, then everything would be easy. With his last bit of strength, Zhu Tianquan flipped his right hand and took out a magical equipment, and said, This is my flying sword, it can bring you to Yuan Yang clan. Also, this is the reward I'm giving you. As long as you deliver the space ring into the hands of the sect master and the entire Yuan Yang clan will thank you. As he spoke, he took out a few more items. The things were good, but to Long Fei, they were all trash. Seeing that he was almost squeezed, the idea moved and said, Accept the mission. Looking at the experience and special item rewards, I'll accept them first. Long Fei muttered in his heart, As for your gratitude and wealth, you think that I am a 3-year-old child. I'm afraid. If we enter the Yuan Yang clan, we will die, right? Long Fei was not stupid. The better the promise, the more deceitful it was. However, Niu Dashan's face was full of excitement, and he was extremely happy as he said, Boss, did you hear that? Ha ha ha. I, Niu Dashan, am about to rise to greatness. Mother, I am going to give birth to 17 or 18 sons of Old Ox clan, and bring the Old Ox clan to glory. Ha ha ha. He looked completely tricked. However, this was even better, at least Zhu Tianquan had been deceived by Fatty's expression. After a moment, his body stiffened and he left. Long Fei said, dig a hole and bury them. Niu Dashan quickly replied, sure. Then. He had a face full of joy as he muttered, I, old ox, will soon become a man above men. I, old ox, will be rich. Ha ha ha. Long Fei didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He did not know that if he were to take anything out, it would bring about a fatal disaster. The flying sword could not be used. Token cannot be used. The things that Zhu Tianquan had given them were even more useless. As long as they were discovered by the Yuan Yang clan, they would definitely be in danger. 1 hour later, Niu Dashan patted the dirt on his body, and excitedly walked to Long Fei's side, and said, Boss, let's go to Yuan Yang clan on the flying sword. Flying sword. I, old ox, have never even seen it before, but I never would have thought that I would be sitting right away. Too excited. Long Fei said slightly, now is not the time, I still have things to do. Niu Dashan was startled for a moment, then said, all right, then we'll do your thing first, then we'll go back. Niu Dashan was truly foolish. He never thought that Zhu Tianquan would dig a hole for them to jump into. If they rode on the flying sword back, it would be hard for them to escape death. More importantly, Long Fei was really curious to know what exactly this space ring was. What kind of power was the Hell Gate? Why did it make a powerful Yuan Yang clan so afraid? Long Fei laughed, then continue killing. Elder Zhu hasn't come back yet. Yuan Yang clan. In the main hall of Yuan Chuan's mansion. Sect Master Ren Tianzhan frowned and asked again. He asked about nearly every meeting. Yang Wanu shook his head lightly, saying, Elder Zhu is very careful when doing things, there definitely won't be any mistakes. Don't worry, Sect Master Ren Tianzhan said, I hope so. If I have that thing. Maybe, the Yuan Yang clan has a chance of survival. Yang Wanu said, Sect Master, Hellgate is indeed strong, could it be that we will let them bully us? Even if Elder Zhu were to give that thing to them, would they let us go? If you let us go this year, what about next year? And then? Where are we going to find those things? This can't go on. An elder immediately said, Great Clan Elder, you are very clear about the Hellgate's power, the strongest power in Chaos Realm, nobody can stop us, we are simply no match for them, your main fighting spirit will only cause Yuan Yang clan to be unable to recover. Yang Wanu said, we have been bullied for so many years, are we still going to be bullied? Do you want us all to die? Another elder said. Grand Elder, even if you want to die, don't drag us down. Exactly. The situation went out of control. Most of the elders were blaming Yang Wanu. Because they were afraid of the Hellgate. The power of the Hellgate was too terrifying. Chapter 1161 Xiao Luo Machete. Chapter 1161 Xiao Luo Machete. Boom. Boom. A demon beast was killed. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing 2-star monster for obtaining 1100 experience, 90 holy source and 1 energy values. Another 100 points. Long Fei's legs moved, and kicked one of the demon beast that was rushing towards him. Critical hit. Bang, bang, bang. Wind God leg had already been cultivated to the 4th layer, its power was even stronger and faster, its series of explosive kicks could instantly kill the 2-star monster. When his HP fell, so did his blood. The system sounded out, causing Long Fei and the idea to move, release your striking energy value. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing 2-star monster for obtaining 1100 experience, 90 holy source points, and 1 energy values point. Ding. Player Long Fei has released level 1 Berserk energy. Please choose. Domain Treasure Series. Long Fei immediately said without even thinking. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Domain Treasure Wind Source Wheel. Fill with energy. Ding. The main artifact's energy has been filled up. I have gained 3 levels of energy filled up. The main artifact slightly moved, the main gun's energy source slightly increased. Domain Treasure Energy, the way main gun opens. Once it was locked on, it would explode. If he wanted to enter the Yuan Yang clan, Long Fei had to be completely prepared. If the main gun S were to be filled up, it would be equivalent to having an additional chance to protect his life. Even if Yuan Yang clan killed him, pissed him off, and bombarded him to meet his grandmother, this was the most powerful force. As for the second stage of the dragon coffin evolution, what was it? Long Fei couldn't say it now either. Was killing the samisen true fire that erupted from Yuxiu's golden cudgel as well as the monkey eyes that suddenly opened up from within the golden cudgel the same as what he had guessed? The power of the second stage is Sun Wukong? I can't say. Long Fei was not confident either. However, he was sure that the golden cudgel on his body was related to the monkey. Even if Sun Ming wasn't at the second layer of evolution, he was sure to be related. Huff. Long Fei exhaled a long breath and said, "Let's rest for a while." Killing demon beast along the way, the body could not bear it. After all, Long Fei's current cultivation was only at the yellow rank level 9. Niu Dashan immediately stopped and ran to Long Fei's side. "Boss, drink some water." Long Fei took a drink from the water bottle and said, "Big Mountain, you should rest too." "I will stay here for the night." "I will rest for the night and continue tomorrow morning," Long Fei said, and then checked his own attributes. "My experience points has already reached 99%. I should be able to level up by tomorrow. The yellow rank is still too weak." What is the cultivation level of that Yuan Yang clan? Thinking about Lai Yang's disdain, Long Fei's anger started to surge. Was not in a good mood as the pressure was overwhelming. His contempt made Long Fei unhappy. Was unhappy that he had trampled on a few of his destiny pill. After hitting his brother Niu Dashan, Long Fei became even more unhappy. One sentence at a time. Don't let Lousy get the chance to pay you back 10 times in one go. And then, Long Fei saw the drop of Demon Ox King blood vein again. He wanted Niu Dashan to try it once, but Long Fei was really afraid that his body wouldn't be able to handle it. Huff. Let's wait a little longer. I have to kill a blood vein and reveal the blood vein for him to fuse with and see what kind of blood vein it matches up with. Long Fei secretly planned in his heart. Long Fei looked at Niu Dashan who was meditating to the side. He tried very hard. As long as Long Fei said that he was going to rest, he would immediately cultivate and absorb the Xian crystal's energy to temper his body. His talent was truly average. Even with the help of the Xian crystal's energy, he didn't even manage to break through rank 1 after a few days. Long Fei didn't know anything about cultivation, and since she couldn't help him with anything, she could only watch on anxiously. The next day. Kill. Bang, bang, bang. Long Fei once again entered the berserk mode of killing, completely putting his life on the line. Unless it was absolutely necessary, Long Fei rarely used the power of the golden cudgel. A person's fighting strength was continuously activated in a life or death battle. In the process of fighting with the demon beast, Long Fei's team techniques kept on increasing. His strength at the 9th level of the yellow rank was also increasing bit by bit. He completely exploded with power. Battling was the best training method for Long Fei. Boom, boom. A few demon beast landed on the ground. Long Fei shouted excitedly, "It's leveled up." When his experience points reached 100%, a surge of powerful energy rose from his body, causing the aura on his body to suddenly change. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Profound Grade 1. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the leveling reward, Xiu Luo Machete. A long blade with the head of the blood skeleton floated in Long Fei's mind. Very domineering. The blade was not very long, just like the real world's thickened and broadened watermelon knife. It looked simple, but it contained an extremely rough strength. Simple and crude. Awesome. Long Fei picked up the Xiu Luo machete and shook it a few times. It was very convenient. Continue to kill. Days passed. With the help of the Xiu Luo machete, Long Fei's hunting speed had increased by a lot, and in these few days, he had been practicing his blade. Hack, hack, cut, sweep. Just these 4 moves, Long Fei used Demon Beastess to practice it tens of thousands of times. Just a little more. This blade technique is still lacking. Long Fei moved, a demon beast roared and rushed forward, a blade cutting down, and in that moment, strength moved. He swept out. Poochie, Poochie. In 10 seconds, the entire body of the demon beast was covered in knife marks. It seemed like it was just a long, thin line of blood, but its strength was enough to hurt his marrow. Ding. Congratulations to player Longfei for killing 1-star monster for obtaining 890 experience, 60 holy source points, and 1 energy values point. Ding. Congratulations to player Longfei for using level 1 Berserk. Domain Treasure Series. The system sounded out, and it was another domain treasure. Without even thinking, Longfei immediately allowed the main artifact to absorb the domain treasure's energy, and activated the 4th layer of power. He was only 1 level away from being able to use the main gun. Once you fill up the main gun's power, go to Yuanyang clan. Longfei held the Xiao Luo machete tightly and slashed, cut, and sweep again. He practiced again and again, breaking through his limits time and time again. Rumble. Suddenly, a loud sound came from the forest. Niu Dasan suddenly exclaimed and said, "Boss, this is incredible, not bad. Inside, there is a big one. Boss." Chapter 1162, 2 of the Power of the Fool. Chapter 1162, 2 of the Power of the Fool. In an instant, Longfei rushed out. The shockwave from the explosion was too strong. A monster that could unleash such power was definitely not a simple monster. It was definitely a boss. When he thought of the boss, Longfei couldn't help but become excited. My blade technique was unable to break through because the level of these demon beasts were too low, and were unable to activate the power in my body. I need the boss strength. Dao Feng. Longfei was wandering around the door as if he could break through, but he couldn't. He couldn't completely comprehend the profound meaning behind those 4 moves. This was because Longfei had not yet broken the limit of these 4 moves. It's been 1.5 months, I finally met a boss. Longfei was indescribably excited. In the past month in Yuanyang mountain range, other than the Wolf King, he had not met a single boss. "Boss, I think you're going crazy, heh?" Niu Dasan quickly followed and said, "Boss, be careful, there are members of the team hunting you." Longfei did not hear it. Right now, he wanted to break through the blade technique that he was training in and then kill the boss. It was that simple. Rumble. 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 There was a series of explosions in the forest as a few figures flew around a giant monster, constantly attacking it. It was a blood-red demon beast. Blood vein S. Furthermore, there was a 5-star peak demon beast. Steel armor rhinoceros. The rhinoceros horn on its head was shiny black, like a knife, and it shone with a cold light. One person rushed forward. The front legs of the rhinoceros dug into the ground. Its huge and heavy body didn't affect its speed in the slightest, and it almost knocked the martial artist flying in an instant. Boom! With an explosive sound, the martial artist was sent flying 100 meters away, directly breaking a giant tree. The martial artist madly spat out blood as his chest cracked open. If he didn't have the protective magic treasure on him, he would already be a dead man. "Brother!" A light voice sounded as a female martial artist rushed over. When the steel armor rhinoceros saw that the warrior was not dead, it seemed as if it had been humiliated. Bang, bang, bang. The earth quaked and the mountains shook. He couldn't even stand steadily. On the other side, 3 people's eyes met. The leader's gaze turned cold, and he gently shook his head. The other 2 understood, and did not go forward to block him, but instead allowed the steel armor rhinoceros to rush forward. The speed was simply too fast. Unstoppable. In that instant, both of them fell into a death trap. The injured male warrior shouted, "Ling Qing, quickly leave. Go." It was too late. The steel armor rhinoceros's speed was too fast. Mountain. In this instant, Longfei's voice shouted. Niu Dasan's arms sank, the muscles on his body immediately caused his clothes to burst apart, and he shouted out, "Understood." Boom. Niu Dasan landed heavily in front of the steel armor rhinoceros. Raising his sleeves, his body sank as he stared at the rhinoceros and shouted, "You are an ox, and I am an ox as well. Let's see who has the most strength." He was clearly going to fight a rhinoceros to the death. No matter how strong his strength was, It could not be because the steel armor rhinoceros's power was stronger. Moreover, the most important thing is that Nyo Dashan is not afraid, looking as though this daddy wants to fight with his life. Long Fei was at a loss for words. Mountain, I wanted you to protect the two of them, not block the steel armor rhinoceros. Nyo Dashan scratched his head. Ah, boss, I thought you were going to let me block this rhinoceros. Boss, speak clearly. It's too late now, I'll block it. And then, Nyo Dashan entered a battle state, spitting out saliva in frustration. His gaze darkened towards the steel armor rhinoceros, and said, let's see who is fiercer. Boom. The steel armor rhinoceros rushed forward in a flash. With a height of more than 3 meters, both of Nyo Dashan's hands sank and directly pressed onto the corner of the steel armor rhinoceros's horns. He exploded forth with his strength. Crack. His muscles seemed to explode once again as his clothes ripped apart. His swarthy skin was brimming with energy. The steel armor rhinoceros's body also sunk slightly. Its mouth was pressed onto the ground by Nyo Dashan, the floor was shoveled, and soil flew everywhere. Everyone was stunned. Long Fei was the same, he thought to himself. Damn, don't tell me he has innate divine strength again. For such a long period of time, Nyo Dashan was only responsible for attracting monsters, he did not make a move, and his cultivation had not broken through at all, and he was only at the second stage of the yellow rank. However, the strength that he exploded forth was even stronger than a yellow rank level 8 martial artist. Why is that? Long Fei did not know that Nyo Dashan did not know about cultivation, but he understood that power was king. Strength was stronger than anything. So, he used all the energy he had absorbed from the Shen crystal to cultivate his strength. He did not train his body like a normal warrior. He used all of his energy to cultivate. He was just like a retard. However, at this moment, the explosive force was too powerful. Ah! Nyo Dashan pressed down heavily on the rhinoceros's horn. He kept retreating, both his feet digging into the ground as he roared out a series of roars. 5-star blood vein S. The steel armor rhinoceros was also extremely angry. Being suppressed by Nyo Dashan's powerful strength, it was unable to get out. In that instant, its body suddenly sank. Long Fei's eyes moved, and he shouted, "Be careful." His head arched. Nyo Dashan was caught off guard, and immediately used a powerful force to fly up into the air. With a face full of anger, he shouted, "Isn't that a competition of strength?" In mid-air, Nyo Dashan lost gravity. At this time, the extremely experienced fighting steel armor rhinoceros suddenly stood up from the ground, its entire body standing straight, its long rhinoceros horn aimed straight at Nyo Dashan's body. The moment Nyo Dashan fell down, his body would be cut in half by the rhinoceros horn. He had to say it. This steel armor rhinoceros's intelligence is super strong. That big guy is going to die. Definitely die. Yellow rank level 2, how dare you appear as a hero to save a beauty? There's still one more person. Where did he go? Just as the other three were discussing, Long Fei's figure disappeared. To be exact, the instant Nyo Dashan was pushed flying, Long Fei disappeared. The instant the steel armor rhinoceros stood up, Long Fei's figure appeared. The cultivation mountain splitting knife in his hand fiercely hacked down, using all his power. Swish. A wound appeared on the steel armor rhinoceros's abdomen. The steel armor rhinoceros roared in pain and its eyes sunk. It stared at Long Fei and instantly gave up trying to kill Nyo Dashan. Another one who doesn't know his place. These are all going to be crushed into mincemeat. Isn't this courting death? The steel armor rhinoceros weighed tens of thousands of kilograms. If they were to suddenly sink and crush it, they would definitely be crushed to death. Boss. Chapter 1163, Stealing My Boss? Chapter 1163, Stealing My Boss? A thin line between life and death. Hiding was no longer possible. You want to crush me to death? Then let's see whether you die first or I die first. The Xiao Luo machete in Long Fei's hands moved, and directly pressed it to the ground, the tip of the blade pointing straight at the steel armor rhinoceros's abdomen. Rumble. The ground suddenly shook. The forest was like a tsunami, a strong wind blew out. Next. A large amount of blood flowed out from the steel armor rhinoceros's abdomen. Dead. That kid must be dead. Isn't this courting death? Truly a retard. If you don't have the ability, you want to be the hero and save the beauty. Why don't you take a piss and act according to your own morals? The three mocked each other. At the same time, Nyo Dashan fell from the sky and coincidentally smashed onto the steel armor rhinoceros's back. He roared loudly, "Boss!" It then struck the steel armor rhinoceros like a violent storm. The steel armor rhinoceros let out a painful roar, blood gushing out like a fountain. Roar! With a furious roar, the steel armor rhinoceros suddenly stood up and wailed in pain. There was a mountain-splitting knife in his abdomen. The two hands on the blade hilt of the mountain-splitting knife tightly grabbed onto it. The moment the steel armor rhinoceros stood up, Long Fei also spat out a mouthful of blood. Ah! With a sudden slash, it pressed down. Swish! There was a huge cut on his abdomen, and his intestines were flowing out. Woo-woo! The steel armor rhinoceros let out a painful scream. Its eyes were bloodshot and its entire body was glowing red. The boss was enraged. Long Fei secretly cursed in his heart, "Not good. Idiot, hurry up and leave." Boom. Nyo Dashan's reaction was too slow, he was instantly sent flying by the steel armor rhinoceros. Nyo Dashan spat out a mouthful of blood, and when he saw Long Fei who was still on the steel armor rhinoceros's belly covered in blood, he thought that he was injured by the steel armor rhinoceros. Angry. "Ah! Injure my boss. Me will fight it out with you." Nyo Dashan took a step forward. The muscles on his body bulged out as if they were made of steel, and he flew up into the air before pressing them down heavily. Boom! The steel armor rhinoceros was once again pressed down to the ground by Nyo Dashan's rhinoceros horn. Woo-woo! The steel armor rhinoceros was enraged, it bent its head and wanted to fly Nyo Dashan up to the sky again, but this time, it was different. He had learnt his lesson from the previous time. In addition, Nyo Dashan was furious this time. He firmly grabbed onto the rhinoceros horn. When the rhinoceros arched its head, his strength suddenly exploded out and he borrowed the power of the rhinoceros's horn to ferociously smash backward. Rumble. The several tens of thousands of kilograms of steel armor rhinoceros was lifted up by Nyo Dashan, then flipped over in the air, heavily smashing onto the ground. Nyo Dashan fiercely roared, "Ah! Hurt my boss, I'll smash you to death." The steel armor rhinoceros smashed the ground until it cracked. The 5 people at the side were dumbfounded. Was this the power of a human? At this moment, Long Fei took the chance and pulled out his mountain-splitting knife, then fiercely stabbed down. Woo-woo! The steel armor rhinoceros released a painful scream, then flipped, its body turned and kicked Nyo Dashan heavily in the chest, causing Nyo Dashan to fly out again. 2 black marks appeared on his chest, and his face was pale. Long Fei also took the chance and jumped out. Looking at the amount of blood on its head, he bellowed, "Let's see how long you can run for." His body leaned. Boom! He leaned heavily on the steel armor rhinoceros's head and fiercely hacked down with the Xiao Luo machete that was dripping with blood. Woo! The steel armor rhinoceros screamed and raised its head. Bam! Long Fei was pushed away. In the air, Long Fei's body flipped and the mountain-splitting knife in his hands slashed at the steel armor rhinoceros's neck. Crack! Flames flew in all directions. Long Fei then kicked the back of the rhinoceros and slashed it down once again. "Let's see how strong your defense is." Boom! Another blade hacked down heavily. This time, it directly shattered the thick layer of armor. The steel armor rhinoceros raised it again. He turned around. He suddenly kicked towards the sky. Wind god leg. In the sky, Long Fei's legs moved like a phantom and kicked down, refine kick. Bang, bang, bang. The back kick of the steel armor rhinoceros was cancelled out. Long Fei's body shot forward and landed on the ground. The steel armor rhinoceros's eyes released a bloodlight, staring straight at Long Fei. In comparison to Nyo Dashan flipping him over, he hated Long Fei even more. He dug his front paws into the ground and locked his gaze on Long Fei. At this time, Ling Qing shouted loudly, "Let's go up together, it's almost at its limit." The injured man Ling Yuan also said, Brother Lin, let's go together. Of the 3 people in the distance, one of them sneered coldly, if I were to go up with you, I don't want to die with you. This rhinoceros is currently enraged, and the 2 of you will also die. Ling Qing, the 2 of you come over quickly. Let's let this guy consume it a bit more. We can make our move after the angry state of the steel armor rhinoceros disappears. Ling Qing's expression changed, and said, Lin Xiaojun, aren't you being too despicable? Lin Xiaojun said, Ling Qing, I am doing this for your own good, the 2 of you are definitely going to die, the big guy just now had slave imprints on his body, the brat is probably also a slave, 2 slaves, so even if he dies, he is just a dead slave, why should I care? We are the future senior disciples of the Yuan Yang clan, how can we die here? Exactly. Ling Yuan, is your brain uncivilized? The 3 of them said. Ling Qing's face was filled with anger, I never thought that you, Lin Xiaojun, would actually be such a person. They just saved us, what about you? Humph. Lin Xiaojun changed slightly, and said, Ling Qing, could it be that you want to be related to a slave in some way? What is a slave? A lowly person, if you're related to a slave. Not waiting for him to finish. Ling Qing bellowed, that's also my problem, there's no need for you to worry about it. Brother, let's go. Long Fei said coldly, you guys can go off to the side. I don't need your help. Then it's over. This blood vein is mine, if anyone dares to steal it, I will take their life. He raised his eyes and looked at Lin Xiaojun, and from his eyes, Long Fei saw greed. He wanted to snatch the boss. As soon as he finished, the Xiao Luo machete in Long Fei's hand moved. Buzz. Imperceptibly, a series of blade qi were released from the mountain-splitting Neef. Long Fei's mind was completely immersed in the blade aura. His mind was madly deducing and comprehending. Suddenly, ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for comprehending the God-tier exclusive blade technique Bloody Battlefield 4 Blade. Boom. Long Fei's body moved, the holy source burst out, his body was like a trail of blood as he rushed out, let me see your power. The blade moved. See you there. In the blink of an eye, he slashed 4 times. At this moment, the steel armor rhinoceros did not react at all. Long Fei's figure landed. The Xiao Luo machete withdrew. Catcher, catcher. The gigantic steel armor rhinoceros split into pieces, and the amount of blood on its head fell to the floor. Dead. And at that moment, the corners of Lin Xiaojuan's mouth hooked up into a cold smile. Snat. Long Fei's eyes turned cold, you stole my boss, if you have the guts then come. Chapter 1164 Shura's Breathing. Chapter 1164 Shura's Breathing. If you don't want to help, that's fine. You want to steal a boss? None at all. The 3 of them mocked from the side. Long Fei was not in a good mood. The words he said earlier were on purpose. Because this steel armor rhinoceros had blown it up the moment it died, and it had the same name as him, steel armor rhinoceros. Long Fei stood by the steel armor rhinoceros's side and did not move. He was waiting. Who wouldn't want to obtain a 5-star blood vein? Even if he did not fuse them, this could still be sold for a large amount of profound stones. Lin Xiaojuan's eyes darkened, his eyes moved. One of the minions beside him, Luo Yuan, took a few steps forward and disappeared. Lin Xiaojun laughed and said, we discovered the steel armor rhinoceros first, if it weren't for us restraining it, you wouldn't have been able to kill it, so we should have split the blood veins layer. Of the 8 people present, 80% will be split. Does anyone have any objections? Ling Qing said angrily, Lin Xiaojun, can you not be so shameless? Ling Yuan's face also darkened, and said, we didn't put in any effort, we don't want it. Lin Xiaojun immediately said, since 2 of you have left, then we will split it into 50%, we will take 30%, and you 2 will take 20%. From what I see, it's not easy for the 2 of you, giving each of you 2 profound stones as payment for your labor, you guys should give up as well. 2 profound stones? It couldn't even buy half a fart for a 5-star blood vein. Long Fei laughed faintly and said, what do you think is good about this? We do not want the profound stone, but give the steel armor rhinoceros to you. Lin Xiaojun immediately laughed complacently, and said, A wise man knows his place. Kid, you are very smart. Smart people usually live a little longer. Long Fei said, then come and get it. Lin Xiaojun looked at the shattered steel armor rhinoceros. If he still did not gather the blood vein, it would be a waste. Immediately, his eyes flickered. Another subordinate Luo walked up to Long Fei and looked at him proudly. Brat, you're very obedient. This is for the best, this is. Just as he was speaking, he walked to Long Fei's side. It was also at this moment. The skull in Long Fei's hand moved, the powerful blade aura moved, and slashed down roughly, then stared at Lin Xiaojun and bellowed, your father has given you face, right? Crack. A loud explosion resounded. That minion Luo's body was split in half. Blood flowed all over the ground. Lin Xiaojun's face darkened, he stared at Long Fei and bellowed, kid, don't be shameless. You dare to kill my men? A lowly slave like you? Lin Xiaojun was furious. Long Fei hooked his fingers at him, and laughed, didn't you want the blood vein S? Come and get it. Lin Xiaojun squinted his eyes and shouted, do it. A figure suddenly appeared from behind Long Fei. Ling Qing shouted loudly, be careful. Long Fei didn't even bother to look as his body faintly moved. The Xiao Luo machete in his hand suddenly switched hands and his left hand swept out, slicing the waist. Boom. With a single slash, the body was split into two. Blood sprayed wildly. It was this brutality. Long Fei did not even look at him, stared at Lin Xiaojun and said, it's your turn. Lin Xiaojun's mind was in shock, his expression secretly changed. He looked at Long Fei gloomily, and said, dog slave, you're really tired of living. Boom. Boom. With two thunderous steps, the ground shook. Lin Xiaojun was extremely fast. Long Fei's brows slightly locked together. Without waiting for Lin Xiaojun to rush over, he quickly went over, with a flash of his blade, 4 moves horizontally came out. Shua. Shua. 4 bloody blurs slashed through the air. It was incomparably savage. Bang, bang, bang. Fiery light scattered all over Lin Xiaojun's body and every single slash of Long Fei's fell heavily onto the strong defensive magic tool. He did not harm Lin Xiaojun at the same time. Lin Xiaojun also made his move. His sword stabbed out continuously. The sword flowers filled the sky, instantly locking Long Fei's entire body. Kai, Kai. Long Fei's body had multiple bloody holes. Lin Xiaojun somersaulted in the air, retreated, and jumped out of the battle circle. Looking at the bloody hole on Long Fei's body, he sneered, and said, slaves are slaves. Trash. Ling Qing berated angrily, Lin Xiaojun, if you didn't have any protective magical equipment on you, you would have already been defeated. Ha ha ha. This is the difference, understand? You're blaming me for having a protective magical equipment. Ha ha ha. Lin Xiaojun laughed out loud. He had a protective movement tool on him that could defend against powerful attacks. No matter how powerful Long Fei's blade technique was, it would not be able to harm him. Not enough attacks. No. The penetrating power was insufficient. It was impossible to truly break through the defense. Huff. Long Fei exhaled deeply, stared at Lin Xiaojun and said, you like to laugh, right? Lin Xiaojun said complacently, I don't like to laugh, I do like to laugh at trash like you who doesn't know your place. You think you can be so powerful just because you killed a steel armor rhinoceros? You think you're good enough to kill 2 of my men? You're just a piece of trash. Understood. With the protective equipment on him, he did not need to be afraid. No matter how strong Long Fei was, it was impossible for her to hurt him. Ling Qing said, don't fight with him, his protective magical equipment is very strong, you can't break its defense. Lin Xiaojun laughed complacently, did you hear that, useless slave? Trash like you simply can't break my defense, ha ha ha. He was extremely pleased with himself. Very arrogant. Lin Xiaojun laughed coldly, if you kneel down and beg for mercy now, you might be in a rush, so I might spare your dog life. Before he could finish, Long Fei disappeared. The sound of breathing could be heard in the air. Not human breathing. It was the breathing of the saber. To be exact, it should be the Shura's breathing. Respiration synchronization. Strength like a pillar. Lin Xiaojuan's eyes darkened as he laughed disdainfully, pretending to be mysterious. Trash slaves like you can't even hurt a single hair on my head. In that instant, Long Fei's figure descended. The distance between the two of them was not even half a meter. Both of Long Fei's hands held onto the blade, and the power of the 8 meridians in his body surged crazily as they linked the Xiao Luo machete. Half a breath of time. Long Fei slashed down heavily. Crack. Lin Xiaojun stood in place without moving and said with a sneer, "How many times do you want me to say it? A useless slave like you wouldn't be able to hurt me." There were no changes to the protective magical equipment on his body. But his expression suddenly changed and his body sank down. A series of explosive sounds rang out from his body as his bones broke one by one, drawing a diagonal line from his neck to his waist. It cracked all the way along this slant. The second level of the 4 sabers of bloodbath. Armor piercing. To be able to pierce through and bypass the armor to harm the original body, that was the power of the profound mysteries. It was also the true essence that Long Fei comprehended after cultivating for half a month. One strike to break it. He had to die. The degree of irresistibility. Lin Xiaojun slowly knelt down in front of Long Fei. Long Fei grinned and said, "You think you're qualified to steal my boss?" Chapter 1165, 100% Fusion. Chapter 1165, 100% Fusion. Ling Qing was stunned. Ling Yuan was the same. The two siblings were stunned. Seeing Lin Xiaojuan's body fall, the two looked at Long Fei as if she was a monster. It was because of that one slash from Long Fei just now. It was because of the explosive power of that blade. And also because, just then, the sound of crushing breaths could be heard in the air. And most of all, because Long Fei actually killed Lin Xiaojun. Who was Lin Xiaojun? The son of the city lord of Wind Forest. Yuanyang clan had specially invited disciples. Killing him was tantamount to provoking the Wind Forest city. It was tantamount to provoking the Yuanyang clan. Within a radius of 1,000,000 kilometers, who would dare to oppose the Yuanyang clan? Who would dare to oppose the forces of Yuan Zhengyuan? Ling Qing quickly recovered her expression, and hurriedly walked forward, saying, "Quickly go, the further you go the better. It's best if you don't come out from the forest." Ling Yuan also said, "Brother, we will not say anything about this matter, quickly leave this place." The two of them knew of Lin Xiaojuan's identity and were afraid of him. Long Fei shrugged and said, "Why do you want to leave this place?" Ling Qing's expression was anxious as she said, "He's the son of the Wind Forest city lord, and even more so a special disciple that was invited by the Yuanyang clan. Who would have thought that after you killed him, the consequences would be unimaginable? You have to hurry up and leave this place, the farther the better. Is the son of the city lord that incredible?" Long Fei muttered. He had even killed the Water City's city lord before, so what did a city lord's son count for? Ling Qing and Ling Yuan were startled. Ling Yuan said, "Do you know why the Wind Forest City is called the Wind Forest City? This is because the Wind Forest City is one of the 18 cities in the Yuanyang clan. It was established by the elder of the Yuanyang clan named Lin Feng. This elder has great authority in the Yuanyang clan. If you kill the people from the Lin family, how can he let you go so easily?" The two of them were very worried. Very anxious. However, Long Fei did not react at all. If Long Fei said she was going to the Yuanyang clan, then the two of them would be scared silly. At this moment, the second fool walked over drowsily and muttered, "What happened?" After 2 heavy blows, his injuries were not light. However, fortunately, his skin was thick and rough, and he could withstand heavy blows. Long Fei slightly said, "If there's nothing else, let's go." He didn't say anything to Ling Qing or Ling Yuan. Nor was he trying to save them. He was doing it for the boss. Long Fei didn't want to hear words of thanks, so she brought Niu Dashan into the depths of the forest. Ling Yuan slightly loosened her breath and said, "In the end, he's still afraid." That's right, who in the Wind Forest City and the Yuanyang clan wouldn't be afraid? From his point of view, Long Fei left in a hurry due to fear. Ling Qing muttered, "Why do I have a feeling that we'll meet again?" Ling Yuan laughed. Ling Qing, the two of them are slaves. That big-sized guy has the slave imprint on her body, and that person's chest also has the slave imprint. I saw it just now. Just based on the marks on their bodies, we are destined to be people from different worlds. Slaves are impossible in this world. Ling Qing did not say it, but she had a strong premonition that he would meet Long Fei again. Boss, if we go all out with that steel armor rhinoceros, it's really not a match for me, but King knows how to play dirty tricks. Niu Dashan slowly recovered after consuming the few heal pills that Long Fei gave him. He felt indignant in his heart. He had pressed down the steel armor rhinoceros twice, and even overturned it once. However, Niu Dashan was a fool. She thought that the others would think the same way. He was a complete fool. Long Fei said, "Mountain, what happened to the Shen crystal that I gave you last time? Where did you use all the energy you absorbed?" Niu Dashan scratched her head and laughed simple-mindedly. "I have already used all of it to increase my own strength." As expected. At first, Long Fei only speculated. Long Fei was very clear about Niu Dashan's lurker in the dungeon. After devouring the Shen crystal, the power was completely different. However, who would be like him? Devouring the Shen crystal actually did not increase his cultivation, but instead increased the energy within the Shen crystal. This was something only a fool like him could do. Perhaps this is his Tao. Long Fei muttered, and said, "Now, don't do anything, adjust your body to its best condition. Let's begin now." Long Fei used points to exchange for a few supplementary pills to be consumed by Niu Dashan. Niu Dashan did not think too much about it. Whatever Long Fei said, he would do. In any case, he would listen to him, because this way, she wouldn't need to think too much. One day later, Niu Dashan said excitedly, "Boss, the medicinal pellet you gave me is really powerful. My body is completely recovered, and I think I have recovered even more power than before. Boss, let me show you. I can uproot that big tree by its roots." With that, Niu Dashan rushed forward. Black lines hung from Long Fei's forehead as she grabbed him and said, "I asked you to adjust your body so that I wouldn't let you act out and pull the tree out. Now listen to me seriously." Niu Dashan looked at Long Fei with a serious face, and said, "Boss, speak." Long Fei took out the blood vein and said, "Swallow this drop of spirit blood's blood." No matter how stupid Niu Dashan was, he knew what this drop of spirit blood was. Blood vein. Furthermore, he could feel the profound strength within the blood vein, a strength filled with the aura of steel armor rhinoceros. Niu Dashan's body immediately shrank, and said, "Boss, I cannot take this item, it's too precious. A 5-star blood vein would at least be worth a few hundred Shen crystal. This was something an ordinary martial artist would not be able to obtain in their entire lifetime." However, the steel armor rhinoceros were only a type of test. Long Fei's real goal was not here, but rather the demon ox god blood vein. The steel armor rhinoceros's type was similar to the king bull's blood. He had to know what kind of degree of compatibility Niu Dashan had with the steel armor rhinoceros. This way, he would be able to integrate with demon ox god blood vein. Long Fei would never treat her brother unfairly. 380 million trading points, so what? As long as he was his brother, he wouldn't be stingy towards items worth 1.8 billion points. Long Fei ordered, "If I'm going to let you swallow it, then swallow it, don't be so womanly. Remember, after the devouring vein, you must tell me the degree of compatibility you have with this blood vein." Long Fei did not say that he still had a super strong blood vein waiting for him. Niu Dashan replied, "Oh." And then, following Long Fei's orders, he swallowed the blood vein. A red light flashed. The blood vein's power burst out from Niu Dashan's body one after another. Layers of thick steel armor appeared on her skin. It was incomparably powerful. Long Fei immediately asked, "How much is the fusion rate?" Niu Dashan scratched his head, saying, "Boss, even I don't know what fit means. But I fused all of the blood vein just now." Long Fei was startled. 100% fusion? Chapter 1166, Preparing for Battle. Chapter 1166, Preparing for Battle. Yuan Yang Clan. The half-year agreement is getting closer and closer. Elder Zhu hasn't returned yet. I'm afraid the odds are against us now. In the main hall, the few elders frowned, their expressions ugly. At this moment, outside the hall, a disciple arrived on a flying sword. He descended quickly and said, Sect Master, Sect Master. Ren Tianzhan's eyes moved, and immediately asked, Is there any news about Elder Zhu? The disciple knelt on the ground and said, Elder Zhu is dead. His voice was very soft, like a thunderclap that exploded in the great hall. The faces of all the elders darkened. I already told you that you can't leave this matter to Zhu Tianquan. Now that he's dead and the thing is gone, how do we account for the Hellgate? Where's the thing? Where is the item? Elder Zhu has truly disappointed us. Does he not know that that thing is our Yuanyang clan's life-saving straw? I really admire him. The chattering within the palace continued. No one cared about why Zhu Tianquan died, or who did he die from. Yang Wanu let out a heavy sigh, and asked softly, Where did you find Elder Zhu's corpse? What's the use of worrying about this now? Grand Elder, now you've fulfilled your wish. Tempage, they're all dead. Where are they all dead? Ren Tianzhan's voice sunk as he asked, Answer the great clan elder's question. That disciple said, It's in the Yuanyang mountain range sect, and also. Ren Tianzhan became furious and shouted, Speak. The disciple's body trembled, and he said, Moreover, there's also Elder Yu Xiu's body, which was buried together with the Elder Zhu. The elders in the hall were stunned yet again. Elder Yu Xiu also died. Could it be that the Hellgate made their move ahead of time? This is the result of defying Hellgate. Hellgate must have done it. Many of the elders began to feel fear. The Hellgate was too terrifying. The gates to hell in its true meaning. Once opened, one would definitely take their life. Ren Tianzhan immediately asked, Then what about the space ring on their bodies? Everyone silently looked at the reporting disciple, as if his answer was the only lifeline. The disciple said carefully, The space ring on Yu Xiu's body is still there, but there is nothing inside. Lost, Ren Tianzhan's body slightly trembled. The expressions of the elders suddenly changed. It's over. It's over. Yuanyang clan is finished. All of the elders felt a chill in their hearts. The gates of hell will definitely open in Yuanyang clan, and Yuanyang clan will definitely not be able to withstand this calamity. Yang Wanu also frowned. Although he was in the main battle, the current Yuanyang clan did not have any fighting strength, so these elders were all afraid. Ask. What power did a frightened person have? Yang Wanu slightly said, Sect Master, I would like to take a look at the scene. He wanted to know who had killed them. Why did Yu Xiu and Zhu Tianquan die together? Did Hellgate make a move in advance? Ren Tianzhan waved and said, Go. Another elder stepped forward and said, Sect Master, what should we do about this year's disciple selection? Is it still on schedule? What else is going on? Have all of those disciples been recruited by the Hellgate to be killed? In my opinion, we might as well disband the Yuanyang clan. As soon as his voice faded, Ren Tianzhan glared at him. Yang Wanu also bellowed, Clan Elder Qi, what do you mean by that? Nothing. I am just saying what I want to say. Now that we are unable to hand it over, the people of the Hellgate will not let us go. We are just fish on their chopping board, we are waiting for death. Rather than waiting for death, disbanding the Yuanyang clan might help us escape this calamity. A few elders echoed. Ren Tianzhan, however, gave a furious roar, and said, Qi Feng, this is the first time. If you say something like this again next time, don't blame me for being impolite. The main hall quieted down. Ren Tianzhan shouted, The disciple selection will be carried out as scheduled. From today onwards, no one is allowed to descend the mountain without my permission. In addition, all elders listen up, gather the elite disciples of the Yuanyang clan. We will fight with all our might against the Hellgate. Whether it is the outer sect or the inner sect, I hope that you can bring out your 10,000 points of spirit to teach the disciples so that they can become stronger within half a year. Do you understand? Since there was no escape, there was only one fight. Ren Tianzhan slightly said, All elders, please quickly go and prepare. Elder Yang, Stay behind. Half a minute later. There were only Yang Wonu and Ren Tianzhan in the hall. Ren Tianzhan walked down the hall and said, "You're extremely angry. You know the strength of our Yuan Yang clan. We are not your match." Zhu Tianquan didn't bring that item back. On one hand, we have to prepare for battle, and on the other hand, we have to make other preparations. If we can get Lai Yang's master out of the mountains, maybe we can still have a chance of survival. Or we can find other treasures to replace it. Ren Tianzhan was extremely clear about the strength possessed by the Yuan Yang clan. Hellgate only had a few powerhouses, and they would not be able to hold on. Yang Wonu was also clear as well, and said, "Big brother Ren, I'll talk to Lai Yang when I get back. I can't guarantee anything regarding this matter, since Lai Yang's identity is very special. As for replacing it with something else, I will try my best to do so." Ren Tianzhan nodded his head. "With your words, I am relieved. There aren't many people in Yuan Yang clan that I can trust anymore. Wan Fen, you have to help me with all your strength," Ren Tianzhan said heavily. Yang Wonu immediately said, "Big brother, please be at ease. I will definitely help you with everything I have." Actually, the person who passed down the position of sect master at that time was Yang Wonu. However, he gave it to Ren Tianzhan. It was also because his words today made Yang Wonu's heart soften. This time, Yang Wonu was still willing to help Ren Tianzhan with all of his strength. Night, Water City. A few men in black robes landed in the courtyard where Long Fei was once imprisoned. There was a door embroidered on their black robes. The bloody door. It was impossible to see his face under the black robe. "Fantasy, can you recover the scene from back then?" A low and hoarse voice rang out from the depths of hell. A black robe man answered, "It's too long, I will try my best." Next. Streams of red power slowly spread out and covered the entire yard. And then, the red line suddenly exploded. A few figures slowly appeared in the air. One of them was Long Fei. All of the black robe man's expression changed. From Long Fei entering the courtyard to the green giant at the back, filled with power, their eyes changed. Because they had never seen the power of the green giant either. They did not understand, but it was definitely a powerful force. Moreover, the junior master S of the Hellgate had far too many powers that they did not understand. One of the black robe man said coldly, "It seems like you are not lying. The power of the junior master has truly awakened." Heh. A series of sinister smiles resounded in the air. Chapter 1167, Discovered. Chapter 1167, Discovered. Haha. "Boss, I'm so strong now. I feel like I'm full of power." Nyo Dashan was like a berserk wild bull that knocked a demon beast flying, the energy in his entire body roaring. The moment he knocked the demon beast away, Long Fei chopped down. Crack. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing 1-star monster, for obtaining 500 experience, 45 holy source, 1 energy values. Release your striking energy value. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for using level 1 berserk. Please choose berserk, domain treasure, water god treasure, heavenly court series. Domain treasure series. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the gold source mirror. Fill up the main artifact. Ding. The energy of the main artifact has been filled up. The energy of the 5th floor has been filled up. The energy of the main gun was fully filled. 500 striking energy value, 5 domain treasures. The energy of the main gun was considered complete. Long Fei took a look at the experience gained, and frowned. 1-star monster's experience has decreased by nearly half, and low-level demon beast are no longer able to satisfy my requirements to level up. The higher the level, the less experience a low-level demon beast had. It was the same as in the game. During this period of time, Long Fei was still at the first stage of the profound rank. The experience required to level up had reached 1,600,000. His experience was very low. The leveling process was very slow. Nyo Dashan was becoming more and more nimble in using the blood vein's power. He was able to perfectly integrate and display it, and after a while, Long Fei would be able to let him devour the demon ox godblood vein. It's about time. It's time to go to the Yuan Yang clan. Long Fei looked at the excited Niu Dashan and asked, "Do you want to go to Yuan Yang clan?" Niu Dashan immediately became excited and said, "I do, I want to take care of the 2 Yuan Yang clan's disciples." "Fuck, what are you trying to do? I have gifted Venus now too." Very direct, very crude. Long Fei said, "Then we shall go to Yuan Yang clan." While they were talking, Long Fei took out his flying sword. Niu Dashan was startled. He then said excitedly, "Boss, do we need to ride on the flying sword now?" He was extremely excited. Long Fei said, "We do not even know where the Yuan Yang clan is. We can only ride on the flying sword. If we do not ride on the flying sword, I'm afraid that we will not be able to leave this place for a year, much less find the Yuan Yang clan." Niu Dashan was as excited as a child, and said, "Boss, all my life, I have always dreamed of riding a flying sword. All my life, I have always dreamed of being able to fly once." Long Fei laughed and said, "You go up first." The flying sword hovered about half a meter above the ground. Niu Dashan was so excited that he stomped his feet on the ground and stepped on it. Crack! The flying sword was stomped on the ground, unable to move or fly. Niu Dashan was startled. "Boss, am I too heavy?" Long Fei scoffed, and almost burst out laughing. Long Fei resisted the urge to laugh and said, "It's not that you're too heavy, it's that it's ran out of oil." The idea moved, connecting the flying swords. Long Fei shouted out, "Rise." The holy source began to deplete. The flying sword slowly started to rise. Niu Dashan stood on top and swayed. When he flew up to 3 meters high, he was so happy that he jumped up, to the point of tears flowing out of his excitement. "Mother, I'm flying, I'm really flying, me." The flying sword slowly flew higher. From 3 meters to 5 meters, then 10 meters. At this moment, Niu Dashan's eyes were in a daze, and with a wow sound, he started to vomit, and his entire body fell from the sky. "Ooh!" Niu Dashan spat out a mouthful of blood as his face turned pale. He muttered, "Boss, it's too high. I can't take it anymore." He vomited. Long Fei looked at Niu Dashan and asked, "Are you afraid of heights, or do you want to faint?" No, I don't want to ride on any more flying swords, it's too uncomfortable." "Mother, stories are all lies. Even when sitting on the flying sword, you would faint." Niu Dashan had a bitter face and a face full of fear, not daring to try again. That feeling of dizziness was too unbearable. Long Fei took a step forward as the idea moved, activating Holy Source. The flying sword whooshed across the air, creating a perfect drift before landing back on the ground. It said, "It's very simple. Do you want to try again?" Niu Dashan hugged onto a big tree and said, "I won't go even if you beat me to death." Long Fei was speechless, and could only give up, and said, "All right, then we can only let the flying sword lead the way, we'll be heading there now." And then, Long Fei let the flying sword fly on its own, allowing it to lead the way. Long Fei and Niu Dashan traveled quickly on the ground. Yuan Yang mountain range. Yang Wanu's eyes suddenly turned sinister, and his chi expanded, Elder Zhu's spirit of the flying sword. It was also at this time. His 2 disciples also felt it. "Great clan elder, the aura of the flying sword is approaching the Yuan Yang clan." Yang Wanu said slightly, "The 2 of you, bring the 2 clan elders' corpses back, I will go chase after the flying sword." "Yes, sir." The 2 disciples only knew that it was the aura of a flying sword and not that the owner of the flying sword was Zhu Tianquan. Yang Wanu knew, and quickly caught up. This was also one of Zhu Tianquan's moves. The reason he left a trace of qi on his own flying sword was so that the clan elders of the Yuan Yang clan could discover him. However, he never thought that Long Fei would be so careful, and only used it after half a month, causing his profound spirit qi to quickly weaken. If not for Yang Wanu's high cultivation, he would not have been able to sense Zhu Tianquan's aura. The aura of the flying sword is also heading towards the Yuan Yang clan. However, it's heading towards the outer court. Who is it? Yang Wanu was suspicious. Are they really from the Hellgate? It's not time yet. The people from the Hellgate shouldn't have attacked ahead of time. If they aren't from the Hellgate, then who could they be? An. The injuries on Zhu Tianquan's body appeared in his mind. It was caused by the technique that Yu Xiu had cultivated, while the previous time, Yu Xiu had dealt a critical blow to his head and was instantly killed. If this power was too strong, who could it be? 2 days later, Long Fei and Niu Dashan stood at the foot of a mountain peak that was covered in clouds and looked up. Niu Dashan muttered, "So high. It's like linking the sky." However, Long Fei's face was full of gloom. "Fuck, tell the flying sword to lead the way and bring us to the bottom of the cliff." "What the F***ck are you doing here? I have to take a detour." The flying sword ascended the mountain and ascended the mountain. Naturally, they did not need to go through the main entrance. Moreover, the elder's flying sword was unimpeded, and he did not have to worry about where to fly up to. Zhu Tianquan was on a secret mission this time. He went straight down the cliff at the back of the mountain. Long Fei kept his flying sword and muttered, "Let's go to the main entrance." In the dark, Yang Wanu had followed along and did not let Long Fei discover anything, nor did he grab hold of Long Fei. He wanted to know just why Long Fei had come here. Looking at the figures of Long Fei and Yu Yang, Yang Wanu's gaze grew nervous. Could it be that the two of them came to Yuan Yang clan to participate in the selection? Chapter 1168 Exquisite Treasure. Chapter 1168 Exquisite Treasure. Participate in the selection? It would be better to say that he was here to cause trouble. Of course. Long Fei mostly wanted to finish the mission because he wanted to get the special item as a reward. And then again, he wanted to fulfill his promise to Yang Yu. Those who have not reached the Shen level will be eliminated immediately. Warriors who do not have the talent for Blood Vein get eliminated immediately. Either you have the profound rank or you have the talent of a Blood Vein, so if any of the conditions are met, you will have the qualifications to be selected. Only having the qualifications to be selected, do you understand? The plaza was packed with people. A disciple with a proud expression on his face loudly said. All the warriors in the plaza were envious of him. Because the clothes he wore were the clothes of the Yuan Yang clan's outer court disciples. Only the official disciples had a uniform set of clothes. Only then would he truly be considered as a disciple of the Yuan Yang clan. The range of the Yuan Yang clan's power range was 1,000,000 kilometers. All the young warriors were rushing here, squeezing through their skin in an attempt to enter the sect. This was the starting point of his dream. Boss, so many people. Niu Dashan was excited. Looking at the sea of people around him, he became excited and said, "Boss, I don't have a cultivation realm." Then Long Fei said, "Don't worry, your 5-star blood vein are considered quite good, they should be able to participate in the examination." Niu Dashan laughed foolishly, "I have to thank my boss for that. Why are you guys here?" Just as Long Fei and Niu Dashan were chatting, Ling Qing's expression changed slightly. He walked to Long Fei's side and whispered, "You too. Why do you still dare to come here? Lin Shaojuan's corpse has already been found. The powers in the Wind Forest City are looking for the culprit who killed Lin Shaojun. How can you all be here?" Ling Yuan frowned. He thought that Long Fei would escape. But he actually appeared in the Yuan Yang clan's selection field. This caused Ling Yuan to worry. He was worried that Long Fei would be exposed, and that the Ling family would be implicated. After all, they were present when Lin Shaojun was killed. Long Fei looked at the Ling Yuan siblings, and said, "If you guys can come to the selection, we can too." Niu Dashan laughed foolishly, "Why did you guys come as well?" "Who knows?" Ling Yuan's expression tensed up, and said, "I told you before, the Wind Forest City is very powerful in Yuan Yang clan. Why are you still coming? If Lin Shaojuan's death was discovered, your lives would be lost. You all can't participate in the selection, so hurry up and leave before you survive." Long Fei said while looking at Ling Yuan, "The most dangerous place is still the safest place. Don't worry. Even if I am discovered, I will not implicate you." Ling Yuan was speechless. However, Ling Qing said, "My brother didn't mean it that way, he's just worried about you guys." Long Fei smiled, "Thank you for your concern." With that, he pulled Niu Dashan along to register. Name: Long Fei. Cultivation base: Black level 1. The statistics elder raised his eyes, looked at Long Fei seriously, and asked, "What is your gifted vein?" Long Fei replied, "I don't know either. The blood vein has not awakened." The clan elder drew an X under Long Fei's name, then said, "Go over there and test your blood vein inherent skill." Next, name, Nyo Das Han. Cultivation base. Yellow rank level 3. What is a gifted vein? 5-star steel armor rhinoceros. The elder's eyes moved, he was clearly excited. 5-star steel armor rhinoceros? Are you sure? Nyo Das Han used all his strength in his arms. Boom, boom, boom. A thick illusory image of a steel armor appeared on his body, giving him an incomparable amount of strength. The elder was extremely excited and replied, "Not bad, not bad. It is indeed a 5-star steel armor rhinoceros. You can directly enter the last stage of the examination." And then, he had drawn 3 hooks under Nyo Dashan's name, meaning that Nyo Dashan's potential was strong. Just the display of a single gifted vein allowed Nyo Dashan to directly enter the final round of the examination, and all the previous matches were exempted. This was the advantage of a blood vein's inherent skill. Yang Huang ancestor was right, Chaos Realm was a world with the talent of a blood vein, and blood vein was king here. A 5-star gifted vein could bring about a strong advantage. Ling Qing and Ling Yuan's eyes were filled with shock. Had actually obtained the steel armor rhinoceros's blood vein. It was obviously the blood vein that Long Fei killed. Why did he give it to Nyo Das Han instead? He has an even stronger blood vein inherent skill. Ling Yuan and Ling Qing were both at the 2nd level of the profound rank and were eligible for selection. Following that, the 2 of them also arrived at the place where the blood vein were being tested. Nyo Dashan was blaming himself a little. "Boss, your blood vein inherent skill hasn't even been activated yet, and you already gave me steel armor rhinoceros S.I." Long Fei said, "Don't think too much. Steel armor rhinoceros S are more suited for you, and steel armor rhinoceros S are just making some preparations. I have even more powerful things for you. Concentrate a drop of blood essence onto it." One by one, the warriors followed suit. Blood vein inherent skill, none. Blood vein inherent skill, none. 1-star blood vein. The blood essence dripped onto the black stone, and the black stone absorbed it produced a corresponding blood vein level. Most people did not have the talent of blood vein, and some had very low-level blood vein. This piece of black stone had existed since the creation of the Yuan clan, and it had absorbed countless drops of blood essence. There were good ones, but there were also bad ones. Next, Long Fei walked over. Without waiting for him to condense his blood essence, Long Fei's eyes suddenly trembled, and he thought to himself with satisfaction, "Damn, what a great thing." The black in front of his eyes was glowing with a golden light. It was like a top-grade magic treasure. After absorbing thousands of years of blood essence, there was a high-level blood essence and a low-level blood essence. The energy absorbed by this black stone was simply too strong, it was about to become essence blood. If such a large amount of blood essence was absorbed by Long Fei, what are you daydreaming for? I have condensed the blood essence. A disciple urged. Long Fei swallowed his saliva, regaining his composure. A drop of essence blood condensed on the tip of his finger, and gently dripped onto the black stone. The black stone absorbed the blood essence. After stopping for half a second, the black stone had no reaction at all. Blood vein inherent skill, none. Next. The black stone did not have any radiance, which also meant that she did not have any talent in blood vein. This result made Long Fei slightly tremble, and he thought to himself, the devouring vein should have come, why is there no reaction? Or is it that my level is too low to detect? At this moment, Ling Qing, who was behind Long Fei, gently dripped a drop of his blood essence onto it. Just for a moment. Golden light shot in all directions, like a beam of light shooting out from the ground. It was like a beam of light, dazzling even in broad daylight, causing the entire Yuan clan to tremble uncontrollably. Divine level gifted vein. Ling Qing herself was stupefied, she was so excited that she couldn't even speak, and said, I won't. He couldn't say a word. She looked at Long Fei. Long Fei laughed and said, Congratulations. Following that, his gaze was always on the black stone, and did not notice the light that suddenly erupted from the black stone. He muttered in his heart, "I have to think of a way to steal this treasure." Chapter 1169 Watching the Changes Unfold. Chapter 1169 Watching the Changes Unfold. Long Fei's devouring vein was level 3 or 4 in God's martial continent. What did this rank represent? Long Fei did not know. What did devouring vein represent? He didn't know. He only knew that Yang Huang ancestor had told him before, that devouring vein were unique and unparalleled existences in the world. As for whether they were strong or weak, Long Fei did not know. The test results showed that his blood vein had no reaction at all. In his heart, he believed that the devouring vein's low level was the reason for this quest. Furthermore, all of his thoughts were on how to steal that large black stone. He kept flashing with golden light and he couldn't help but swallow his saliva. If he could, he wanted it now. The black stone contained a lot of power, and for some reason, this power made Long Fei feel an urge to kill. It was an impulse that was rarely seen, as if there was a power in his body that was urging him to do it. "I have to find a way to get it," Long Fei secretly said in his heart. Moreover, the blood vein's power in my body seems to be drooling. Could it be that the devouring vein wants to devour the black stone's power? Long Fei could not tell what he was thinking. Buzz! Buzz! Just at this time, flying swords descended from the sky, and a few clan elders flew out from outer door presbyter courtyard. Who is it? Whose blood vein exploded with that strong light? This is too shocking. This blood vein's power surpasses everything. The entire Yuanyang clan was boiling. Everyone on the plaza looked at Ling Qing with incomparable envy and at the same time, incomparable jealousy. Such a powerful gifted vein didn't even need to be tested, and could directly become the disciple of the Yuanyang clan. One of the disciples said, "Elder, it's her, it's her." Just now, it was a drop of her blood essence that emitted the intense light of the holy vein. All the elders gathered around. Ling Qing was a little confused. He was truly a little confused. She was very clear of her own, blood vein, inherent skill. Even though it had not awakened, it was definitely not some holy vein, inherent skill. She shook her head and said, I'm not. Ling Yuan lightly slammed against Ling Qing and said in a low voice, "Ling Qing, what's going on?" Ling Qing said, "Brother, I don't know either." All of the elders walked up and respectfully looked at Ling Qing and said, "Can you try again to let us take a look?" Good, good. Being watched by so many clan elders, Ling Qing was a little nervous and a little afraid. Soon after, she condensed another drop of blood essence into her blood essence. The black stone did not emit the same dazzling light as before. However, it also burst forth with a burst of light. 7-star blood vein? Why is it only a 7-star blood vein? Just now, it was clearly dazzling, it was a holy vein. What's going on? Could it be that the blood vein can temporarily mutate? Several elders began to discuss with each other. A 7-star blood vein was already a very impressive existence, but to the holy vein, it was unknown just how many levels weaker it was. They were naturally not satisfied. An elder said, "Could it be that the blood vein in her body hasn't been fully activated? Sometimes good and sometimes bad." It's possible. The strong light from earlier was definitely from the holy vein. Why don't we just bring her into the inner sect and let the Grand Master decide? That's the only way. The result of their discussion. Before Ling Qing could react, he was brought to the inner sect by a few elders. If nothing unexpected happened, she wouldn't need to participate in the test and would directly become an inner court disciple. To an ordinary martial artist, this was like soaring into the sky. This is really enviable. Becoming an inner court disciple straight away will reduce the amount of time one has to struggle for by 3 to 5 years. From today onwards, the difference will be like heaven and earth. Sigh, if only it was me. With your dog blood vein-ess, you want to become an inner sect disciple? Stop dreaming. He seems to be a member of the Ling family. The Ling family of the Wind Forest City. The crowd was constantly discussing about the holy vein. A few minutes later. Detection continues. When Ling Yuan went up, his gifted vein was only at the 4-star level. It wasn't high, but it wasn't low either. His face was full of excitement, because there was a high chance that the Ling family would rise up because of Ling Qing. Niu Dashan asked in a low voice, "Boss, the blood vein can still be changed temporarily." Long Fei said, "Who knows, there are too many possibilities for this world to exist." Niu Dashan said, "Holy vein, if only I had one as well, I could directly become an inner sect disciple and could directly find those fellows and beat them to the ground one by one." Long Fei laughed, and thought, not far. Niu Dashan's compatibility with the steel armor rhinoceros was very perfect. He also continuously released the blood vein's power, becoming stronger and stronger. It would be a great way to integrate with the blood vein of the demon ox. Long Fei had a feeling that Niu Dashan would definitely cause a sensation after fusing with a king bull's blood, and would definitely be very eye-catching. A full 4 hours later, the primary selection had ended. Out of the tens of thousands of martial artists, only a third of them had reached the qualification to take the test. At the same time, an elder said lightly, "Next, we will proceed with the first round of the competition assessment. It will be divided into 60 smaller competitions. The loser will be eliminated and the winner will be promoted. Remember, do not hurt anyone. Other than that, Yuanyang clan will only accept 2,000 people this year, which means that you will only have the chance to stay after entering the top 2,000, understand? Bring out your true strength. Even if they passed these competitions, they would only be able to smoothly become outer court disciples. Want to enter the inner sect? There was only one way to become an inner sect disciple." The competition continued. Yuanyang clan, inner sect. Are you saying that you sensed the aura of the Elder Zhu's flying sword? Ren Tianzhan's brows twitched. Yang Wanu nodded his head and said, "That's right, I can feel that they are entering the selection site, but who exactly is it?" The images of Long Fei and Niu Dashan appeared in his mind. However, Yang Wanu did not say it immediately. "Then what are we waiting for? Go and capture them immediately. Sect Master, there must be something left behind by the Elder Zhu on him. It is something that concerns the life of our Yuanyang clan. The deadline given by the Hellgate is about to arrive." It was as if the elders had caught hold of a life-saving straw. Ren Tianzhan looked at Yang Wanu and said, "Great Elder, what do you think?" Yang Wanu said, "My opinion is to wait and see. At the moment, we do not have any evidence to prove that they took Xu Tianxuan's things, nor do we know their goal. So let's see what they do." At this time, an elder immediately jumped out and said, "Great Elder, what time is it? You're already burning your eyebrows, and you still want to wait and see? Even if we kill all the participants, we still have to obtain that item." "Exactly. What if the people from Hell Gate came ahead of time? Do you take this responsibility? You can't afford it either." Yang Wanu smiled slightly. "Since they are in Yuanyang clan, are you afraid they will run away?" Chapter 1170 You're Courting Death. Chapter 1170 You're Courting Death. Long Fei wins, enter the next round. Long Fei gave him a hug and said, "Thanks." He then walked down the stage. Niu Dashan immediately walked up with water in his hand and said excitedly, "Boss, we have won 5 consecutive rounds. In 2 more rounds, we will be able to become outer sect disciples of the Yuanyang clan." Ha ha ha. Me would never dare to think about it. Due to the fact that Niu Dashan possessed a gifted vein, he only needed to participate in the final round of the competition. Long Fei smiled and said, "We came here with a purpose." Niu Dashan immediately said, "Ah, I remember it in my heart. Me had been paying attention this whole time and also asking around, what do you think we should do? In the entire outer sect, there is no one that we are looking for. He might be a senior inner disciple." Long Fei looked at Niu Dashan in shock, and said, "I didn't think that you would know how to gather information." Niu Dashan scratched his head and laughed foolishly. "They are also very polite to me, probably because I have a gifted vein." Long Fei said in a low voice, and softly asked, "How is the progress of the matter I gave you?" Niu Dashan immediately replied in a low voice, "Boss, I secretly moved the black stone you were talking about just now. My God, it's too heavy, at least 100,000 kilograms. If I don't use the blood vein's power, I won't be able to move it. As expected. Long Fei thought, seems like it's impossible to steal it. If it's like this, then I will only have to use it to absorb the power in its body. All right. Nothing much, just make me some equipment. When you pass the assessment, I'll give you a special reward. Long Fei smiled faintly. Miss, you can't go out. If you go out again, Anu's life won't be saved. In the inner sect. In an exquisite little courtyard, there were pavilions, fake mountains, flowing water, all sorts of strange flowers and plants, and the little courtyard was exceptionally luxurious. One of them was dressed in white, and there was a trace of a severe illness that had just started to heal between his brows. The girl was beautiful. It was just that his face had turned slightly pale. Yang Yu. Yang Wanu's only daughter. Yang Yu said, Anu, I will not leave the Yuan Yang clan. I just want to go to the outer sect to watch the show. Anu said, Miss, I know what you are thinking. Just give up on this idea, those 2 slaves will not participate in the selection. They are just 2 slaves, and aren't even qualified to be selected. Yang Yu glared and said, Anu, they have saved us before. You can't just keep saying slave and slave all the time, right? Anu said, if it wasn't for them, would we have been involved in that war? Last time in the forest, the 2 of them abandoned us and ran. What did they say about finding you a destiny pill? How could they have gotten him a destiny pill? Miss, they are not people from the same world as you, why don't we not go? Anu hid everything. Because she did it for Yang Yu's own good, she did not want Yang Yu to have any other connections to Long Fei. She could do it with anyone, but not with lowly slaves. This would affect her identity. It would only make the scorching flame senior brother unhappy. Yang Yu's face slightly darkened as he muttered, he won't lie to me. I can see that his eyes aren't lying at all. At this time. For people walked in from the entrance of the small courtyard. Lai Yang said faintly, slaves are the lowliest thing in this world, they can do anything to survive. At that time, you were only tricked by him. Yang Yu's eyes moved, and immediately said, senior brother. Her heart was filled with gratitude. Because this life was saved by Lai Yang, if he didn't quickly feed her the destiny pill, she would already be dead. He was very happy in his heart, because Yang Yu's view of him had changed a lot. At least, it was much better than 2 months ago, so he said, little junior sister, you want to go watch the show at the outer court? Yang Yu asked, can senior brother bring me there? Lai Yang laughed proudly, there is nothing in Yuan Yang clan that I can't do. Lai Yang said, we are also going to the outer sect. We have been choosing our disciples for the past half year, and they are all geniuses amongst geniuses. They will definitely be able to bring Yuan Yang clan up to a whole new level. Lai Yang said, let's go, the ranking tournament is about to start. We won't be able to see it if we're late. I heard that a person from the Holy Vein was born, and it was even a girl. This year's competition will definitely be exciting. Lai Yang and the other 3 had been searching for the genius disciple. It could be said. The people they were looking for were all geniuses amongst geniuses, and all of them were the best talented disciples of the 18 cities. The disciples they chose did not need to participate in any of the examinations and directly entered the final ranking tournament. Only the top 10 disciples of the top 10 could enter the inner sect. This was a special reward for them, and also the fastest shortcut to enter the inner sect. On the square outside the outer sect. Boom! With a huge sound, Nyo Dashan fiercely threw a person flying. Nyo Dashan wins. The blood vein on Nyo Dashan's body withdrew its strength, and the steel armor disappeared. After recovering from his battle state, he rushed down the stage with incomparable excitement. Looking at Long Fei below the stage, he said, ha ha ha. Boss, I've won, I'm now Yuan Yang clan's disciple. Mother, did you see that? I am now a disciple of the Yuan Yang clan. Nyo Dashan looked at the sky, tears welling up. He was very excited. He had never been so excited before. Long Fei's heart was slightly moved as she looked at him. Mother, where are you now? Ling Yuan wins, enter the next round. The noise from the plaza continued to ring out. The 2,000 slots were beginning to be filled. Rest for 10 minutes and then carry out the ranking tournament. The top 10 disciples of the first 10 ranks will gain the qualifications to enter the inner sect directly. This is the fastest path, you all must grasp it well. As soon as he finished, Long Fei was slightly taken aback, then said, "You can directly enter the inner sect?" Niu Dashan's face was full of excitement. "Boss, did you hear? As long as you get in the top 10, you can enter the inner sect. There's a chance." Long Fei had several reasons to come to the Yuanyang clan. However, none of them wanted to become a disciple of the Yuanyang clan. The main reason he came to the Yuanyang clan to take the examination was because he had promised Yang Yu before, so he came. Upon entering the inner sect, he would be able to contact the sect master of the Yuanyang clan, which would help him accomplish the mission that Zhu Tianquan gave him. He really wanted to know what that item in the ring was. He also knew about the 4 people in the forest that day. Thus, he had to enter the inner sect. The revenge of being stepped on must be avenged. If he did not report it, then he would not be called Long Fei. "I don't care what kind of genius you are, or what kind of inner disciple you are, as long as you provoke me, I won't have a good ending." The 2 destiny pill were stepped on. Brother was beaten. Long Fei could not tolerate this enmity. "It's about to begin. We made it." The 6 of them rushed to the outer sect. Lai Yang's gaze tensed up as he saw Long Fei in the crowd. At this moment, when Lai Yang saw this, his eyes turned sinister. "You are courting death." Chapter 1171, The Good Show Has Just Begun. Chapter 1171, The Good Show Has Just Begun. He's here. He's here. Anu, did you see that? He really came. Seeing Long Fei in the crowd, she was unspeakably happy in her heart, and said, "I knew he would come, he promised me that he would definitely come back." "Senior brother, you still don't know him, right? His name is Long Fei, and his identity. He is a warrior of the Water City, he is powerful. You didn't see that, didn't a crisis appear in our Yuanyang clan? He might be able to withstand the crisis." Yang Yu was completely immersed in his own happiness. He didn't see the ice-cold murderous look in Lai Yang's eyes at all. He really came to die. Anu's eyes were also filled with shock as his heart became anxious. Yang Yu jumped up and waved his hand at Long Fei. I'm here, I'm here." While they were talking, Yang Yu was just about to run out, but as she was about to take her first step, she was stopped by Lai Yang. Yang Yu did not understand, and asked, "Senior brother, he is the person who saved me from the Water City." Anu also said, "Miss, you cannot go see them." Lai Yang couldn't help but ask, "How noble is your status? What kind of low status did they have? You are people from 2 different worlds, and I won't allow you to enter." Yang Yu stared at Lai Yang in shock, then looked at Anu and questioned him back. "Anu, did you tell us their identities?" Lai Yang said coldly, "It's just 2 slaves. I can tell with a single glance from their lowly expressions. Do I still want Anu to say it?" Yang Yu glared at Anu, and then said, "Senior brother, what about the slaves? If slaves were to become powerhouse, then Raging Wrath Emperor would be born a slave. He would also become a powerhouse at the peak of Chaos Realm." Lai Yang said, "How many Rage Emperors are there in the Chaos Realm? How many slaves were there? Not every slave can become a Fury Emperor." Yang Yu said, "I invited him. I must go." Lai Yang's eyes darkened as he said, "If I say no, then no. And then, after today, you will never see him again." The killing intent in his eyes was not hidden. It was a naked burst. Yang Yu was shocked, and said, "Senior brother, you can't do this, you can't. He is my friend, he can bring hope to Yuanyang clan, he." Lai Yang shouted and said, "Anu, bring the little junior sister back to the inner sect. She is not allowed to take even half a step out of the courtyard gate without my permission." Yang Yu struggled up, and said, "Lai Yang, on what basis do you care about me? My dad can't even control me, who are you? No one can stop what I've done." In the distance, Niu Dasan pointed at Lai Yang and suddenly said, "Boss, look, it's those 4 people." Who are those two women? What are they doing? Long Fei looked over. Lai Yang's eyes also looked over. The two were 100 meters apart, but their eyes met. Killing intent burst out. You dog, last time I spared your dog life, I don't know how valuable it is, but you still dared to come to Yuanyang clan. This time I will let you die at my feet. Lai Yang said. The more Yang Yu struggled, the more furious he became. Yang Yu shouted loudly, Long Fei, run, leave this place quickly. Niu Dashan listened carefully and muttered, Boss, that woman seems to be calling your name. How does she know your name? She seems to have told you to run. Flee. Is this woman crazy? We are now disciples of the Yuanyang clan. How can we escape? Who dares to touch us? Niu Dashan said with a domineering expression. Looking at Long Fei's ice-cold expression, Niu Dashan suddenly came to a realization and asked, could it be the 4 people from last time on the mountain slope? What the hell? Come again this time. Niu Dashan was very angry. The anger in his heart began to surge. At this time, Yang Yu gradually disappeared. Lai Feng asked in a low voice, Senior brother, do you want to report this to the outer sect? Lai Yang said, what's there to report? As long as we expose their slave identities, they will lose their qualifications. Why bother? Lai Yang said, the Water City is in a mess because of him, and he will not be able to escape responsibility for this matter. Any question would stop Long Fei from going further. Could even cause him to lose the qualification to continue participating in the examination, and even more so cause him to be unable to become a disciple of the Yuanyang clan. Lai Yang laughed coldly and said, if he likes to play, then I will play with him well and see who can win, and if you hit someone when they are at the bottom of the valley, you can't hit them. If that doesn't work, you have to strike them when they are at the top of the valley. Then, you have to hit them fiercely and make them fall back to the bottom of the valley. Dog slave, I want to see how high you can climb. Apart from Lai Yang and the others, the outer sect selection had happened. Yang Wonu also came. Several elder of inner houses came. However, they were all hiding in the darkness, with a different goal from Yang Wonu. They were searching for the aura of Zhu Tianxuan's flying sword. Moreover, there was one other thing they didn't know. Ren Tianzhan sent a group of his guards down the mountain to guard at the exits of all Yuanyang clan. He definitely would not allow anyone to leave the Yuanyang clan so easily. For the Yuanyang clan, and even more so for himself, Ren Tianzhan, 10 minutes of rest was over. An elder walked onto the stage and said, all of you are now outer sect disciples of the Yuanyang clan. If you want to obtain higher rewards and soar into the sky as an inner sect disciple, then take out all of your strength. Remember, full strength. Ranking tournament, begin. As soon as his voice faded, the square was filled with cheers. Niu Dashan clenched his fists tightly and said, Boss, I'm so excited. Long Fei smiled lightly, and said, be careful. If you encounter an opponent that you can't win against, just give up, understand? There is nothing more important than one's life in this world. Niu Dashan was stunned for a moment, then nodded and said, me understands. The ranking tournament had begun. Dozens of arenas were held at the same time. The winner will be promoted. Long Fei against Horse Sky City. 2 minutes later. Long Fei wins, enter the next round. Niu Dashan wins, enter the next round. After 3 consecutive rounds, Long Fei had won the match with ease. In the distance, Lai Yang coldly laughed, brat, let's see how high you can climb. Hee hee. At this moment, Lai Yang walked over and said, Senior brother, I have already explained everything you have said. As long as we meet Long Fei and Niu Dashan, they will be willing to suffer a fate worse than death. Lai Yang laughed proudly, kid, this is my territory. I can play you to death however I want to. The good show has just begun. Enjoy it slowly. Chapter 1172. Chapter 1172. The 7th round, the first round. Niu Dashan against Luo Yun. Warriors, get on stage. In the 7th round, if one won, then they would enter the top 10. In other words, they would have the qualifications to directly enter the inner court. This was a huge threshold. It was extremely important. Nyo Dashan's body had a few more wounds. Even walking down the road, he had had a difficult time. This was because his cultivation level was only yellow level 3. Among the martial artists in the 7th round, his cultivation was the lowest. He was completely relying on a single breath to persevere. Nyo Dashan's idea was very simple. He rushed into the inner sect and followed Long Fei, helping him to defend against all kinds of injuries. He knew clearly in his heart that Long Fei would definitely be able to enter the top 10 and become an inner disciple. If he wanted to stay by Long Fei's side, he would have to go all out. Big guy, hurry up and die. Luo Yun leaped onto the stage and looked at Nyo Dashan, who was only at the 3rd stage of the yellow rank. His face was filled with a disdainful sneer, and he thought to himself, I will definitely finish the things that senior brother Lai Yang has told me to do. With this kind of strength, this big guy is just a piece of trash. Nyo Dashan walked up the stage step by step, his hands cupped in front of him and said, Disciple Nyo Dashan. Not waiting for him to finish. Luo Yun suddenly made his move, he moved quickly, and ruthlessly kicked. Bam! Nyo Dashan was completely unprepared, he did not know that Luo Yun would suddenly launch a sneak attack, and his body was directly kicked to the ground, almost flying out of the stage. Trash that couldn't even withstand a single blow. Luo Yun laughed disdainfully, hooked his fingers at Nyo Dashan and said, Idiot, come. Nyo Dashan was also angry, saying, The referee didn't even shout for you to begin attacking, aren't you being too despicable? Luo Yun laughed, Your mother has not shouted for the start yet. Scolded my mother? Nyo Dashan was furious, his mother was the most sacred in his heart. No one can tarnish it. Luo Yun's lips curved up as he sneered, So what if I'm scolding your mother? If your mother was here, I would K her. Not waiting for him to finish. Buzz, buzz. The blood vein power in Nyo Dashan's body burst forth, the thick steel armor on his body seemed like it was real, he charged forward like a mad bull. Bang, bang, bang. His steps were like thunder as he quickly charged forward. The full eruption of the blood vein's power. Luo Yun did not place Nyo Dashan in his eyes from the start. So what if a Huang level 3 trash has a gifted vein? He was still a piece of trash. However, the moment Nyo Dashan's figure disappeared, his heart turned cold. Before he could react, his massive body came crashing down from the sky. Rumble. It was like a mountain had been crushed. He sat on Luo Yun's stomach and punched down viciously with both of his fists like the power of a rhinoceros horn. You're scolding my mother, you're scolding my mother, you're scolding my mother. Bang, bang, bang. The two fists struck out violently. He gave Luo Yun almost no chance. The first punch had already split Luo Yun's head open, making him dizzy. The next few punches caused him to faint. Nyo Dashan's power was not gifted vein. It was his power. He could completely absorb the energy of a Shen crystal and transform it into energy. Similarly, he could also completely convert the steel armor rhinoceros's energy into strength. He was just that silly and silly. What he worshipped was power. Curse my mother again. Curse again. If you have the guts, scold again. He was blasted into a bloody mess, and his entire head was sent flying out of the arena. Luo Yun was instantly killed. Not even that. Nyo Dashan crazily grabbed onto Luo Yun's feet, and did it again and again, just like how the fat guy used to hold the big metal ball in Juchi combat was doing. Boom, boom, boom. The entire scene was extremely shocking. Everyone was stunned. Long Fei was the same. Finally, the entire stage was covered in blood. Nyo Dashan, who was covered in blood, seeing that he was only left with half of his body, fiercely shouted, "Try cursing again." The entire hall was silent. Fear could be seen in his eyes. Was this person's cultivation at the 3rd level of the yellow rank? This was simply a raging bison. Many people turned pale. Lai Yang squinted his eyes and said coldly, "Useless trash." Nyo Dashan walked down the stage and stood beside Long Fei. Looking at the sky, he muttered, "Mother, if anyone dares to curse at you again, I will kill them." Long Fei looked at Nyo Dashan and said, intrepid. And then, the whole scene was in an uproar. Oh my God, what kind of power does he have? We can't curse his mother anymore. This is his taboo. He will go mad, and this guy simply doesn't care about his life when he goes mad. Too terrifying. Is he still human? If they were to compete based on strength, Nyo Dashan was not Luo Yun's match. However, Luo Yun had underestimated him and angered him, so this wild bull had gone berserk. The battle power of this berserk wild bull was completely different. Don't give him a chance, otherwise, he would definitely take your life. Long Fei patted Nyo Dashan's shoulder and said, Mountain, don't go up against the next round. You have already entered the top 10. Long Fei could tell from Luo Yun's eyes that the following matches were all against the two of them. If Nyo Dashan could win this one by luck, then he would not be so lucky next time. Nyo Dashan did not speak. The next match, Long Fei against Li Yixio, the two disciples, please come out. As soon as his voice faded, everyone looked at Li Yixio. Within the Li family of 18 cities, the most outstanding genius among the younger generation, the gifted vein is even a 7-star blood vein. His cultivation is even profound grade 3. He's practically a genius amongst geniuses. 7-star blood vein, profound level 3, only 18 years old. This is quite rare. As for that Long Fei fellow, his gifted vein are 0, and his cultivation is at the first rank of the profound rank. Even with his cultivation, who knows how many profound stones he used to pile up there? He would probably be defeated in one move. I think so too. Blood vein have 0 innate talent, they definitely do not have a future. There is still a warrior with 0 gifted vein, could it be that he is a slave? Ha ha ha. The crowd burst into laughter. Under everyone's gazes, Li Yixio walked to the stage and looked at Long Fei who was at the other side. With a cold and disdainful expression, he said, Brat, hurry up, stop wasting your time. For someone like you to. One move. Li Yixio said arrogantly. Everyone's blood boiled, thinking that Li Yixio could defeat Long Fei in one move. Long Fei walked to the stage and said, one move, right? As you wish. Li Yixio looked at Long Fei with scorn, get lost. With that, Li Yixio suddenly made his move. However, his vision blurred and Long Fei disappeared. Long Fei acted even faster than him, but the reaction time that he saw with his own eyes was too slow. Bam! A loud sound echoed out. Li Yixio's body flew out of the stage, heavily smashing onto the ground, bounced up, and then smashed down again. After rolling for over 100 meters, he coincidentally rolled to the bottom of Lai Yang's feet. It was completely unrecognizable. The blood on the top of his head dropped to the bottom. Chapter 1173, Then You All Go Together. Chapter 1173, Then You All Go Together. Master Senior Brother, save me. Li Yixio looked up at Lai Yang. Lai Yang glanced at him coldly and stomped down heavily. Crack. The ribs on his chest were shattered and pierced straight into his heart. The last breath was gone. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Li Yixio for obtaining 1230 experience, 110 holy source and 10 energy values. The damned must be killed. Long Fei would never let her go. Even if Lai Yang didn't attack, Li Yixio would have died. Long Fei coldly glanced at Lai Yang, the corners of his mouth lifted as he laughed coldly. Cluck, cluck. Scorching flame clenched his fists, his joints cracking. The killing intent in his eyes grew stronger, his eyes gloomy as he stared at Long Fei, and said, You dog, let's see how long you can continue being so arrogant for. In the dark. Yang Wanu frowned, and thought to himself, what a fast speed, a fast and powerful leg technique. This leg technique is at least an 8th rank technique. There are not many that can cultivate an 8th rank technique within the 18 cities. Who is this person? What is his identity? Yang Wanu's heart was filled with doubts. He knew that Zhu Tianquan's flying sword was on Long Fei, and he did not say it out loud because he wanted to see what Long Fei wanted to do, and why did he come here? It was very unusual for a first-grade profound rank person without a single blood vein to be able to cultivate such a high-level technique. Yang Wonu stared at Long Fei. Who exactly are you? Nyo Dashan became excited and said, Boss, you're too handsome. Defeat in one move, ha ha ha. What genius, what bullsh asterisk T blood vein, too weak. Long Fei smiled lightly, and said, we are now qualified to enter the inner sect. Objective achieved. Nyo Dashan said, Boss, do you want to give up on the competition too? Long Fei said, MN, our goal is not these people, but the 4 of them. You can just enter the inner sect. There was no boss, so nothing dropped. With just a few points in energy values, Long Fei didn't want to waste his holy source value. Nyo Dashan immediately replied, Boss is indeed boss. Half an hour later, the 7th round of the competition ended. The 8th round began. The 8th round's first battle, Long Fei versus Fang Can, please come out. Long Fei yelled out, I give up. Abstaining? Huh? How can I give up? The sudden forfeit caused the entire training grounds to shake. The 4 people of Lai Yang's group never thought that Long Fei would forfeit. Lai Yang sneered and said, he must be scared. I don't dare to keep fighting. Fang Can is a profound 4th-rank martial artist, and his gifted vein is at the peak of the 7th level. He definitely knows that he cannot defeat her, so he gave up. Slaves are slaves. The martial arts arena was also in an uproar. They were all puzzled. However, most people thought that Long Fei was afraid. If he was not afraid, why would he give up? At this moment, Lai Yang's voice sank, and said lightly, Long Fei, you haven't given up the ranking tournament. If you admit defeat, your lowly status will be exposed. Once your lowly identity is exposed, you will no longer have the qualifications to become a disciple of the Yuanyang clan. If I were you, I'd keep fighting. He did not want Long Fei to give up. He wanted Long Fei to kneel on the stage. Nyo Dashan said in a low voice, Boss, if our identities were to be exposed, all of our results will be cancelled. I'm worried. Slaves, in this world, have no human rights. No sect would accept slaves. Yuanyang clan was the same. If their identities were exposed, Long Fei and Nyo Dashan would be kicked out of Yuanyang clan. Never again step half a step into Yuanyang mountain range. Long Fei looked at Lai Yang with great interest, and asked, Do you really like seeing your men die that much? Lai Yang said, You're afraid of death, aren't you? Ha ha ha. Long Fei laughed and slowly walked up the stage. He glanced at Fang Can and asked, Are you his man? Fang Can sneered, Brat, if you can kneel down and admit defeat, I'll let you die a little easier. Oh, all right. Long Fei smiled faintly. Fang Can said, What's good? All right, kneel down. Long Fei said, What I meant was, you're going to die. As soon as he finished, Long Fei held out the Xiao Luo machete in his right hand and his body moved. His aura was linked to the mountain-splitting Neef. At this moment, a roar came out from Fang Can's body demon beast. His gifted vein is an attacking tiger. Incredible. No wonder Long Fei was scared. He already knew about Fang Can's gifted vein. Now, he's dead for sure. Demon Beastess had a strong attack power. Another tiger. The peak blood vein among the 7-star blood vein. Fang Can laughed complacently, and said, Brat, you dare to fight against senior brother Lai Yang. You don't have the qualifications, do you understand? Suddenly, he moved. A ferocious tiger silhouette dashed out from his body. Huff. Inhale. Long Fei's breath, the mountain-splitting Neef's breath, was also the breath of an Azura. The moment he saw Fang Can charge over, Long Fei's pupils slightly sank. The mountain-splitting Neef moved. It hacked down like a watermelon. Crack. A woo. The tiger screamed, the illusion shattered and all of Fang Can's attacks were shattered. Immediately after, Long Fei leaned on the tiger's back fiercely, boom, bang. It smashed into Fang Can's chest. Fang Can staggered backwards. Long Fei slashed downwards, right in the middle of Fang Can's forehead. Fang Can swayed back and forth, his body constantly retreating. Between his brows, there was a long line of blood that flowed down from his head to his chin, with blood seeping out slowly, his eyes bulging out as he stared at Long Fei. The blood on top of his head drained. He died with grievance. Even. He didn't even know how he died, and he couldn't react at all. His 7-star peak blood vein was hacked into pieces with a single slash. What exactly was it? He had no idea. Even the secretly young Wonu couldn't figure it out. What is it? The force of that slash just now was too bizarre. Young Wonu didn't understand, and the doubt in his heart grew even stronger. Who is he? Who exactly is it? The entire audience was stunned. It was almost an instant kill. Was he afraid? This was truly not putting these people in their eyes. The expression on Lai Yang's face was extremely ugly. It was as if he had been slapped in the face by someone. It was extremely uncomfortable. The same was true for the other three. In just over a month, Long Fei had changed into a completely different person. It was also at this time. Long Fei didn't even look at Fang Can, who had collapsed on the ground. Instead, he turned around and stared at Lai Yang, and said with a cold smile, "You don't care about face. If that's the case, then call out all of your people. Let's attack together. I saved you the trouble." Arrogant. Extreme arrogance. Brutal. Was Long Fei's personality. Chapter 1174 Boss, Let Me Do It. Chapter 1174 Boss, Let Me Do It. To be arrogant, one had to be extremely arrogant. Aren't you going to target Laozi? Then come. Everyone attack together. I'll take it. Long Fei shouted once again. Like to be cheap? Then give it a slap. Too savage. How arrogant. This is too arrogant. What do you take the Yuanyang clan as? Do you really think that defeating a few Mystic Realm experts is so amazing? Many disciples of the Yuanyang clan were unwilling to accept this outcome. Many people were speaking up for Lai Yang. Because of his special identity, they all wanted to show off in front of him. This way, they might be able to directly enter the inner sect in the future. Niu Dashan walked over in large strides and stood beside Long Fei. Long Fei's gaze swept across them as he said, "Since you all are unhappy, then you all can attack together." Earlier, they were all aimed at the disciples that were taking the examination. These words were directed at all the outer court disciples. As soon as he finished, more angry shouts rang out. "Brat, don't be too arrogant. This is not a place where you can behave atrociously. Don't be too presumptuous. I advise you to restrain yourself. You won a few matches and yet you don't know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. Do you really take yourself seriously?" The sounds of criticism and ridicule rang out. Long Fei still had a cold smile on his face, and his gaze was not moving at all as he stared at Lai Yang. "If you don't agree, then the four of you can also attack together." "How dare you!" A furious roar. An elder bellowed, and said angrily, "Long Fei, you are too presumptuous." Long Fei sneered, looked at the elder, and said, "I'm sorry, this is how I am. Tell the truth." Long Fei was really not afraid of anyone. Not to mention a normal elder, even if the Yuanyang clan's sect master was in front of him, he would still not be afraid, because whoever dared to be cocky, he would blast them to death with a cannon. The main gun energy was fully filled. "Who has to give it a try?" "You." The elder glared as he struck Xiong Longfei with his palm. "Why are you trying to act so savagely now?" At this moment, Lai Yang slightly shouted, "Elder son, stop." Sun Wu was stunned for a moment before he said, "Lai Yang, he's so arrogant. If we don't teach him a lesson, won't he ascend to the heavens?" Lai Yang laughed, "It's just two lowly things. Why don't you follow them when they scream a few times? Isn't that the same as them? Kid. You want to challenge me, right? As you wish." Lai Yang smiled playfully, saying in his heart, "Let's see what power you still have." Long Fei said arrogantly, "Do you think your people are my match? It's better if you attack together. Kid. Don't be too arrogant. You know your identity very well. Don't let us expose it. When the time comes, you won't even be able to do anything to a dog." The scorching sun roared. Niu Dashan said angrily, "Brat, F***K your grandmother." Lai Yang's gaze tightened as he coldly snorted, "He lost." Niu Dashan said, "If you have the guts, come fight with me again." Lai Yang's face turned sinister, "You think I'm afraid of you, you piece of trash? Lai Yang blocked Lai Yang and said, "Don't be impatient." Long Fei also said to Niu Dashan, "You may leave first." Niu Dashan stared blankly for a moment, then said, "Boss, you handle 7 or 8 people by yourself, I'll help you." Long Fei said, "No need, you can just wait at the side." At this moment, Lai Yang's eyes moved. Following that, the 8 genius disciples all landed on the stage and stared at Long Fei. Long Fei stood in the center of the stage and looked around, laughing. "Is this the genius you have recruited? Brat, you're courting death. Give me your life. Die." The 8 of them moved in unison at an extremely fast speed. Long Fei's eyes flashed, his killing intent burst out, the Xiao Luo machete in his hand hummed as he rushed forward, bloody battlefield 4-blade. Shua. With a slash, a blood-red light fell. A disciple fell. Long Fei's body sank, wind god leg, consecutive explosion kicks. Bang, bang, bang. A person was sent flying 100 meters away. His chest was caved in and he was gasping for air. The moment his body landed, he let out a loud shout, waist slash. Boom. The mountain-splitting knife swept out, and a disciple's body split into 2. Fresh blood spurted out. Next. With one hand, the mountain-splitting knife in Long Fei's hands became like heavy cannons, King Kong fists. Bang, bang. One person was sent flying, and Long Fei's body suddenly leaned back, and another blade slashed down. The stage was just like an elegant music piece. Everything was so beautiful to the extreme, without a single flaw. Long Fei's every move was perfect. It was like art. The fusion of blood and violence. Perfect. Everyone was dumbfounded. Each of the 8 genius disciples were all geniuses, but in front of Long Fei, they were like trash. One move was enough to send them flying, while the other was to kill them all. He couldn't stop it at all. The faces of the Yuanyang clan disciples were also filled with fear. Every time a person died, it was as if slapped Lai Yang's face. It was very hard. Just what had happened in the short span of a month? Why did a yellow rank person suddenly become so powerful, and furthermore, they did not have the power of the blood veiness, so why was this so? Boom, boom, boom. Ding, ding, ding. As they flew out of the arena one by one, the sound of a notification rang. Every time, Long Fei would attack with all his might and not rest until one party died. In less than 3 minutes, Long Fei was the only one left on the stage, along with the mountain-splitting knife that was still dripping blood. Long Fei smirked and said coldly, "Who else?" Her voice wasn't loud, but it was incomparably arrogant. Just by asking, who else could it be? Everyone was dumbfounded. The mountain-splitting knife in Long Fei's hand moved, pointed at the distant Lai Yang and said, "Are you still continuing?" It was a blatant provocation. Extremely savage. Lai Yang's eyes turned cold, and he said with a smile, "I should have climbed to the highest point, right? It's time to give you a slap. I'll beat you back to the bottom of the valley." He never thought that the 8 of them would be able to defeat Long Fei. He didn't care about the life or death of these 8 people at all. What he wanted was for Long Fei to climb up a little bit more, and then kick him to death ruthlessly. At this moment, Lai Yang stood up and said, "Senior brother, let me fight." Lai Yang looked at Lai Yang and thought for a moment before saying, "All right." The scorching sun walked out. When Niu Dashan saw Lai Yang walk out, he followed suit and said, "Boss, this guy asked me to come here, I want revenge." Long Fei said, "Mountain, you." Without waiting for Long Fei to finish speaking, Niu Dashan said, "I know that I'm not his match, but I can't take this lying down, I definitely have to beat him up. Last time, he was ruthlessly crushed on the hillside. He was unhappy. Suppressing the rage in his heart, he kept thinking of revenge. He definitely wouldn't let it go this time." Long Fei looked at Niu Dashan's serious expression, and his heart was moved. "I'll use this fight to make you fuse more with the blood vein's power. All right." Chapter 1175, Complete Defeat Once Again. Chapter 1175, Complete Defeat Once Again. He had no choice but to do it. Niu Dashan walked up the stage. Lai Yang coldly laughed. "Last time, I tortured you like a dog, you still dare to come out? If I were you, I would definitely run away with my tail between my legs. Nyo Dashan said angrily and naively, me wants revenge. Revenge? With just you. Lai Yang sneered and said, see how I can make you into your true form. As soon as he finished, the scorching sun moved, the shadows under his feet overlapped, and his body was like the wind as he quickly rushed towards the ring. Nyo Dashan clenched his fists tightly. Wang, wang. A thick illusory image of a steel armor appeared on his body. Armor? Lai Yang disdainfully said, no matter how thick the armor is, it's useless. The talent of the blood vein in this world is very important, but the realm is more important. Boom. The power of the scorching sun burst forth, and his fists were like hammers as they struck out heavily. Rumble. The steel armor on Nyo Dashan's chest shattered, the muscles on his chest caved in, and a rib broke as a clear sound came out. Poochie. Blood spurted out. It was also at this moment that Nyo Dashan opened his eyes wide. His eyes were as big as an ox's and he swept them with his fists. Huala. Lai Yang sneered, trash, too slow. The moment Nyo Dashan made his move, the scorching sun had already bounced off of him. He missed. Above the gifted vein, the scorching sun had completely suppressed Nyo Dashan, and it was the same for cultivation realm as well. Trash, here I come. As soon as his voice faded, the figure of the scorching sun disappeared and was thrown out once more. Long Fei frowned, and quickly leaned in. Without waiting for him to get near the stage, a few elders immediately blocked Long Fei's path and shouted, we cannot interrupt the competition. If you dare to interrupt, then don't blame us for being impolite. Long Fei didn't care at all. Nyo Dashan let out a loud shout, and said, boss, I can still resist. Boom. Boom. With two loud bangs, the stage cracked apart, and Nyo Dashan's feet pierced into the rocks of the stage, nailing himself to the ground. Bang, bang. Two loud sounds, Nyo Dashan's body was struck once again, and another bone was fractured. It was just that. His body did not move. All the muscles in his body expanded. Nyo Dashan glared at Kong Kim and bellowed, come again, do you only have that much strength? Is this person crazy? Has he been made a fool of? His feet are stuck in the ground and he wants to be beaten up like a wooden stake. I've definitely been made a fool of. The crowd burst into scornful laughter. Nyo Dashan was completely not a match for him. Realm, the blood vein was crushed, he had no strength to fight back, and he even had his feet planted into the ground. What was this? This is what you call courting death. However, Nyo Dashan was even more arrogant as he shouted, come on, hit me again. Come on, you cowardly bastard. Come and fuck me to death. It was as if he had gone mad. Lai Yang sneered, you want to die? I'll help you. Boom, boom, boom. Nyo Dashan defended himself completely and allowed Lai Yang's attacks to strike his body. Every time they struck him, he would be drenched in blood, and in the short period of a minute, his entire body would be covered in blood. Wounds of various sizes were all over his body. The skin split open, the bones were deep enough to see, and fresh blood surged. However, Nyo Dashan did not scream out in pain. He shouted even more arrogantly, come on, are you a woman? Can you use a little more strength? This daddy will stand here and you won't be able to kill me even if I stood there and let you hit me. One sentence at a time. The surrounding people were all dumbfounded by his actions. Really crazy. If he wasn't crazy, how could he have ended up like this? The anger in Lai Yang's heart flared up. Clenching his fists tightly, he said, let me see how long you can hold out for. Boom, boom. The two streams of power burst out from his body, and the scorching sun started to rise. Nyo Dashan laughed out loud, come, use your strongest power to beat this daddy. Fighter. Once he launched his strongest attack, his body's defense would also be lowered to the weakest level. This was a weakness of all martial artists, and one could only choose one attack or defense. Nyo Dashan had been waiting. He knew very well in his heart that he was no match for Sunscorch. He had to wait for an opportunity. Wait for Sunscorch to completely give up on his defense. Now the chance had come. Nyo Dashan laughed loudly. At the same time, he clenched his fists so hard that his clothes exploded under the support of his muscles. At the same time the fierce sun attack descended, Nyo Dashan's body slightly leaned forward, lowered his body, and pushed his feet into the arena heavily with his head facing forward like an ox. Boom! He stared at it with his feet. The arena broke apart. The energy that had been brewing in his body suddenly exploded. Boom! The raging rhinoceros charged out like a wildly attacking tank. Bam! He hit on Lai Yang's chest, his eyes bulged out and blood spurted out from his mouth. After that, his whole body fell onto the ground. Nyo Dashan's fists were like heavy cannons, exploding everywhere. Bang, bang, bang. Fighting to the point where the scorching sun was caught unprepared, he couldn't even resist. At this moment, Nyo Dashan was finally going crazy, punching out with both of his fists. I will let you know what true strength is. What strength is, do you understand? You woman. You said my boss is trash? What are you now? You're just a piece of trash. Nyo Dashan roared as he attacked. In less than half a minute, the scorching sun had been blown away, and blood was spurting out of his face. An evil glint flashed across Lai Yang's eyes. Fierce wind attacked with a single step. A figure landed on the stage, and landed condescendingly behind Nyo Dashan. Long Fei's eyes darkened, and shouted, "Can he interrupt the competition?" The three elders sneered, "We did not see it." In that instant, Long Fei did not want to waste time with the three of them. He moved his right hand, and a pole appeared in his hand. The three elders were overturned. Long Fei moved his wind god leg and kicked fiercely at the strong gale in the air. "Humph! You're courting death." Fiery Blaze moved as well. His figure was like a bolt of lightning, and an enormous pressure came crushing down. Rumble. Long Fei was blasted away. The fierce wind palm struck towards Nyo Dashan's head. Nyo Dashan's fists exploded towards Lai Yang's head, but it was just that. He was slightly slow, and the fierce wind's attack landed first. Nyo Dashan's body flipped and was immediately blown away. His head felt like it was about to split apart, his ears were ringing like thunder, buzzing loudly like the world was spinning, his body was swaying, and he almost couldn't hold on any longer. One contact. Long Fei and Nyo Dashan were once again defeated. Long Fei landed outside the stage. Nyo Dashan landed outside the stage. Lai Yang slowly descended and said with a cold smile, "Fight with me? You are still very young." Lai Yang also rushed over. 4 of them versus 2 of Long Fei. Lai Yang sneered and said, "Kill." At this moment, Yang Wanu's voice sank, and she said faintly, "Stop." Get ready to tremble. Get ready to tremble. In the first round, he lost again. But what Long Fei did not expect was that Yang Wanu would actually step out and stop him. Lai Yang looked at Yang Wanu and their auras immediately receded. "Uncle Yang, Master." Other than Lai Yang calling him Uncle Yang, the other 3 people called him Master. Yang Wanu walked out, looked carefully at Long Fei, and said faintly, "Let's drop this matter today." He still did not know Long Fei's identity. He still did not know Long Fei's goal, and did not want Long Fei to continue fighting, because Long Fei would die. "No way." Lai Yang immediately said, "Master, we can't let this person stay." When he thought of the destiny pill on Long Fei's body and how the little junior sister treated Long Fei, Lai Yang did not retreat. He absolutely would not allow Long Fei to stay in the Yuan Yang clan. At the same time, Long Fei also said, "This is only the beginning, how can you just let it go?" Yang Wanu's brows tightened, and shouted, "I said forget about it, no one else can continue to fight." His voice was filled with authority. The entire outer sect was shocked. In the dark, several elders discussed. "Why should I stop it? That Long Fei brat doesn't have any gifted vein. That Nyo Dashan is just a 5-star blood vein. He's useless. Such a person died just like that, without affecting the Yuan Yang clan in the slightest. Why would he, Yang Wanu, stop him? Could it be he knew that Zhu Tianquan's flying sword was in this kid's body? It's possible." "What do you mean possible?" "Definitely. Who is Yang Wanu? How could he not understand Zhu Tianquan's flying sword chi? He definitely did not say that the brat called Long Fei definitely had that thing on him. If that's the case, we can't let that kid stay. Lai Yang, Lai Feng and the battered Lai Yang lowered their heads, not daring to say a single word. The fiery blaze was different. Lai Yang said, "Master, they are not qualified to join Yuan Yang clan." Yang Wanu shouted, "Lai Yang, the two of them have passed the examination, why aren't they qualified to join? You don't need to be bothered by this matter anymore, I will say." Not waiting for him to finish, Lai Yang interrupted directly, "They are slaves." As soon as his voice faded, Yang Wanu's face turned ugly. "They are slaves. Slaves. Slaves do not have any qualifications to join a sect. If they are slaves, then the two of them will immediately disqualify from the assessment and get out of Yuan Yang clan." Intense discussions broke out in the surroundings. Next, a few inner disciples said, "We cannot let slaves join our Yuan Yang clan. The status of slaves is too low. If we let them join, it will greatly affect our Yuan Yang clan's reputation." "You're right." Lai Yang laughed proudly. He stared at Long Fei and said, "Brat, take out the slave's imprint on your chest." After Long Fei fed Niu Dashan a few pills, Niu Dashan stabilized his injuries slightly. Following that, Long Fei laughed coldly and said, "That's right, I am a slave, so what? Direct recognition." Long Fei did not care about his status, so what if he was a beggar? The most useless thing in the world is identity. Did you hear if he admitted he was a slave? They really are slaves. We can't let them enter the Yuan Yang clan. It's impossible for slaves to join a sect. Yang Wanu's heart sank a little. How could they be slaves? Yang Wanu stared at Long Fei and asked, "Are you really a slave? As long as you deny it, no one will dare to force you to take off your clothes for verification." Long Fei said magnanimously, "I am a slave, but so what?" Lai Yang laughed out loud, "Nothing, you're just not qualified to join Yuan Yang clan, it's that simple, ha ha ha. Get out. Get out of Yuan Yang clan. Slaves are not welcome here." The surrounding people clamored. Everyone mocked Long Fei and Niu Dashan. The status of a slave was destined to be mocked. At this moment, Yang Yu ran out of the group in a hurry and ran to Long Fei's side and said, "So what if you have the status of a slave? They're so strong, how many of you are their opponents? If you are not their match, then what right do you have to mock them? Mocking them? Are you mocking yourself for not being more than a slave?" Yang Yu said with righteous indignation. Anu hastily ran out, and was fiercely glared at by Lai Yang. Niu Dashan looked at Yang Yu, and said, "Boss, who is she? Why do I feel like I've seen him before?" Long Fei said lightly, "I did what I promised you. I came to participate in the assessment, and I also passed the examination, so..." Without waiting for Long Fei to finish speaking, Yang Yu immediately said, "Not yet, you haven't helped Yuan Yang clan to get out of danger. You haven't become a true disciple of the Yuan Yang clan yet." Holy **T. Long Fei cursed in his heart, "I just want to receive this mission, then finish it all before withdrawing. What do you want me to do?" Long Fei really did not want to stay in Yuan Yang clan. It was meaningless. Joining a sect was the most boring. Cultivation resources? He didn't need it. What did he want? It was the demon beast, it was killing. This way he could improve infinitely. Joining the sect would only bind him. While they were talking, Lai Yang's face was ugly. In the Yuan Yang clan, everyone recognized Yang Yu as his woman, but now, she stood together with an outsider. How could he not be angry? A fiendish look appeared on his forehead. The muscles in the corner of his eyes trembled. The idea moved and said, "Uncle Gooey, buzz." With a buzz, a black shadow attacked. Next, a netherworld Udumbara claw directly pressed it on top of Niu Dashan's head, and a powerful energy crazily devoured the energy of the blood vein in Niu Dashan's body. Too fast. It was so fast that he couldn't react at all. Lai Yang laughed coldly. "Blood vein inherent skill? Will he be gone soon? As for you..." Lai Yang's eyes darkened. He shouted again, "Uncle Ju." Boom. Heaven's end palm. A palm struck out without any warning, striking Long Fei in all sorts of ways on his chest. Long Fei's body sank, and even though he couldn't use his strength, he only took half a step back. But the 8 extraordinary meridians in his body were all sealed. Just like an engine without oil, it turned off its engine in an instant, and its power was disappearing, trapped by the seal. Lai Yang smirked. You've lost all your strength, you're just a waste. Little junior sister. Slave identity, no blood vein, no cultivation. Now I ask you, are they qualified to join the Yuanyang clan? Lai Yang laughed out loud. Ha ha ha. Yang Yu shouted. Lai Yang, you are despicable. Lai Yang sneered and said, despicable? This is just an excuse for the weak. No gifted vein. I will let you know what blood vein inherent skill is. Long Fei's power was restricted by the seal, but the space ring could still be opened. Also, his cultivation was stopped by the seal, and in that instant, the gold light that flashed out from the black stone became even stronger. Long Fei laughed excitedly. Tremble. Do you know what a gifted vein is now? Do you know what a gifted vein is now? Slave identity. The gifted vein was extracted. His cultivation was sealed. Just these things can bring a person back to his original form. It might be possible, but it's definitely not someone like you, Long Fei, who's even more arrogant than you. The more he tried to stop them, the more upset he got. Big Mountain, come here. Long Fei's gaze tightened, coldly snorted, and said, open your dog eyes wide and clear, I'll let you know what a gifted vein is. The blood veins in Niu Dashan's body were pulled out. His body felt like it was on the verge of collapse, and it was extremely uncomfortable. After hearing Long Fei's voice, he walked up with difficulty and said, Boss, we. Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Long Fei took out the demon ox god blood vein and said, swallow this drop of blood essence. This is the blood vein's power that I have prepared for you. Humph. I'm afraid that all 5-star blood vein were picked up by luck. If there was a high-level blood vein, would a person with 0 talent like you not be able to swallow it? Will it be given to someone else? Are you dumb, or do you think we are stupid? That's not right. This big guy should be a brainless person to listen to you. The strong wind sneered coldly. A 5-star blood vein is a pretty good blood vein. If there was any other good blood vein, Long Fei would not be able to fuse it. Why would he give it to others? Is there really such a selfless person in the world? He didn't believe it. Even if there was, this kind of blood vein was not much better than a 5-star blood vein. Any one of them was an existence a 9-star blood vein could crush. You're right. Are you stupid, or do you think we're stupid? Will you give your level 0 blood vein to others after you fuse it yourself? Are you treating others as test subjects? Lai Yang also laughed at him. Uncle Gui and Uncle Ju did not make any moves. Yang Wanu also curiously looked at Long Fei. Long Fei grinned, then open your dog eyes wide and see clearly. In this world, other than his mother, even Long Fei treated him the best. Forget about this drop of blood vein, even if he was treated like a mouse by Niu Dashan, he would definitely not bat an eye. His life was still Long Fei's. He swallowed the blood in one gulp. In that instant, boom, boom, the footsteps of a beast came out from Niu Dashan's body. His footsteps were like thunder, every step extremely heavy, and rays of light shot out from his body. Buzz, buzz, buzz. OM, OM, OM. Complete integration. Niu Dashan's breath felt like it was puffing out from his nose, and his eyes looked more and more like those of an ox. The bones that were broken earlier on seemed to have all crumbled, and at the same time, seemed to have completely healed as a series of cracking sounds could be heard. Ha ha ha. It really is a xiao by mouse. Slaves are born to be someone who we can play with. This big slave doesn't have any brains. At a time like this, he still believes that slaves are born to be lowly creatures. This big guy is going to be tricked to death. Hearing the series of cracking sounds coming from Niu Dashan's body, they thought that this was the sign of death. Yang Yu said with slight worry, Long Fei slowly took a few steps back, and said, you should step back, don't worry. Moo. The power that burst out from Niu Dashan's body suddenly erupted, as he roared out. Immediately, bang, bang, bang. As his strength climbed up, bit by bit, in the instant that his strength increased, the level of Nyo Dashan's cultivation also increased by one level after another. Yellow rank level 4. Boom. Yellow rank level 5. Boom. Yellow rank level 6. Boom. Yellow rank level 9. Open. Rumble. Nyo Dashan let out a loud shout, and the aura on his body abruptly changed, directly rising to the 9th level of the yellow rank. In just half a minute. Other than the time taken to absorb the blood vein, it could be said that every second, he would soar from level 3 yellow rank to level 9. Rocket. The surrounding people were all dumbfounded. No one dared to mock the blood vein that Long Fei gave as a trash anymore. No one mocked that Nyo Dashan was Long Fei's, Xiaobai's, mouse. The fact that he had even leveled up 6 was in front of them. They had to believe it even if they didn't believe it. Moreover, the reason why Nyo Dashan had broken through the 6th level was not because of his cultivation, but because of the blood vein's power breaking through its shackles. Everything was because of the blood vein that Long Fei gave him. Just what kind of blood vein power was this? I don't understand. Everyone was in a daze. Lai Yang's face was extremely ugly. He was very clear in his heart that this kind of blood vein was of very, very high rank. Yang Wanu's heart was also shocked. This kind of blood vein. Such a powerful blood vein, why did it give it to his little brother instead of fusing with him? Could it be that an even more powerful blood vein is flowing in his body? The Blackstone's test will not be wrong. There's no gifted vein, right? Mountain. Let's let this group of idiots see what a holy vein is. Long Fei grinned, stared at Lai Yang and laughed in disdain. Nyo Dashan's entire body was filled with power. This power was countless times stronger than that of the steel armor rhinoceros, and even he himself was not sure how much stronger it was. In short, he had a feeling that his strength was invincible. Nyo Dashan walked to the side of the black stone and dripped a drop of his blood essence. Drip. The blood essence landed on the surface of the black stone and was slowly absorbed. 2 seconds later. Boom. Boom. A beam of light rushed out from the black stone and shot into the sky, causing the entire Yuanyang clan to shake. This blood vein level light beam was stronger than the one that had received the blood vein halo. The two blood veins had different innate strengths, so this power was even more manic and overbearing. It's the holy vein again. My God. Holy vein, it's actually a holy vein. It is stronger than the power I received from the blood vein. He actually gave the holy vein to the little brother beside him. Is there something wrong with his head? I'm going crazy. At the same time, the inner sect's elder with the flying sword came flying out, and sect leader Ren Tianzhan also flew out. The appearance of the holy vein caused everyone to be incomparably shocked. However, they did not know how strong Nyo Dashan's blood vein was. Demon Ox's blood vein was a leveling up blood vein. Demon Ox's blood vein was a god amongst holy vein, an unrivaled existence. More importantly, with the steel armor rhinoceros as a foreshadowing, Nyo Dashan had already perfectly fused the Demon Ox god blood vein. His strength exploded forth. Long Fei grinned and smiled. Do you know what a gifted vein is now? The dregs. The dazzling light was extremely shocking. Their 4 blood vein were trash compared to Nyo Dashan's blood vein. A slave's blood vein was even stronger than them. This was undoubtedly giving Lai Yang a ruthless slap on the face, loud and clear. Lai Yang's eyes darkened, and said coldly, so what if we have powerful blood vein? It will still be devoured. Uncle Gui. The gloomy old man suddenly moved. Long Fei's gaze tensed up. Nyo Dashan took a step forward, and said with a heavy tone, Boss, let me do it. Chapter 1178, Direct Smashing to Death. Chapter 1178, Direct Smashing to Death. Moo. An ox's roar resounded in the void. Following that, Nyo Dashan stood still in his original position. Uncle Gui's ghastly claw swiped down ruthlessly. His face was full of excitement, because this powerful blood vein's innate strength was his. His right hand was heavily pressed down. He directly grabbed onto Nyo Dashan's head like he did just now. TSK. A strange, Complacent laughter rang out. Uncle Gooey laughed. Those who are capable of divine-level gifted vein, hand over your blood vein. Nyo Dashan's eyes darkened. The moment his right hand grabbed down, the blood vein's power in his body exploded, and he shouted loudly, "Then it depends on whether your hand is strong enough." Power exploded from the top of his head. From within the illusion, two gigantic horns rose up above Nyo Dashan's head. With a sudden move, boom, the two forces collided. Crack, crack, a series of bone-cracking sounds rang, and Nyo Dashan's body collided, boom, bang. It heavily smashed into Uncle Gooey's waist. Slash, slash. The two energies immediately broke through his body and struck the wall that was left behind. Without waiting for Uncle Gooey to react, Nyo Dashan quickly retreated and fiercely. Rumble. The wall cracked, and Uncle Gooey was sent flying from the impact. This time, he was on top of a large tree. Another retreat, another fierce collision. Rumble. A few times in a row, Uncle Gooey's body was finally broken into half. Only then did Nyo Dashan stop. Your grandmother's chest, continue to be so arrogant for this, Daddy. I, old ox, am not going to show off. Do you think I'm a sick cat? Step by step, they walked over, their bodies covered in Uncle Gooey's blood. Everyone was staring at Nyo Dashan, as if they were staring at a monster. Was he even human? Huang level 9 was able to kill a powerhouse at the peak of the Xian level. A full stage. How is that possible? Long Fei secretly bit his tongue, and thought to himself, if it was me, I'm afraid even I wouldn't be able to do it. Is this the power of a blood vein? Is this the power of a 380 million points blood vein? Enough. Strong enough. Crazy enough. Ha ha ha. Long Fei didn't regret it in the slightest. The blood veins are for people who can perfectly release their powers. Even if he were to fuse with the King Bull's blood, he wouldn't be able to unleash power like you, Nyo Dashan. Only he could withstand it. Nyo Dashan walked back to Long Fei's side and stood behind him. Imitating Long Fei's tone, he shouted out loud, "Fuck, who else is there? Who else dares to go against my boss? All of you, stand up. So what if you're a slave? How great are your identities? Those who refuse to accept this can stand up for me. I, old ox, will die one by one." His aura was domineering and mighty. It was just like the imposing manner of Demon Ox. The entire outer sect was completely crushed by Nyo Dashan. Lai Yang's face suddenly changed, and he looked extremely ugly, as he had thought that the Uncle Gooey protecting him would be knocked to death by a slave no matter what. Just how strong was the blood vein? Everyone was thinking about that. No matter how strong the power of a yellow rank level 9 was, it would still be there. The power that Nyo Dashan had exploded with was all the power of a blood vein. What exactly was the blood vein he had fused with? Long Fei was really willing. Was there really such a foolish person in this world, to be given to a little brother instead of fusing with a holy vein? They were even going to suspect the whole world. The corner of Long Fei's mouth raised slightly. Now do you know what it means to be a blood vein? Scum. Aren't you all very pleased with yourselves? Aren't you superior? Aren't you looking down on slaves? Then I'd like to ask, who came out to fight with him now? Come out, you high and mighty geniuses, now come out for your father. Long Fei's voice grew louder and louder, until he almost roared in anger. He was venting in his heart. Long Fei stared at Lai Yang and said, "Lai Yang, weren't you yelling about how amazing he was just now? Now call one for me." Nyo Dashan immediately took a step forward and stared at Lai Yang, his eyes filled with mania. The imposing aura of the blazing flames was instantly shattered. And when he was stared at by Nyo Dashan, he couldn't even speak. Never. Nyo Dashan's gaze turned as he stared at Lai Feng and Lai Yang. The last time it was the two of you, now both of you attacked together. Lai Yang and Lai Feng took a step back at the same time, not daring to move forward. He didn't dare to fight with Nyo Dashan anymore. Especially Lai Yang, he didn't even have the courage to look at Nyo Dashan anymore. Fiery Blaze's eyes turned cold, and the killing intent in his heart became even stronger. Yang Wonu slightly said, "Let's forget about this matter. No matter what your identity is, all of you are now part of the Yuan Yang clan." Wait. Just as Yang Wonu was about to finish, The honorary elder of Inner House walked out and said lightly, "Great elder, Yuan Yang clan has a rule that slaves are not allowed to join any sects. You are the great elder, you should remember this, right?" Yang Wanu's brows twitched, and he said faintly, "Elder Wu, it would be best for you to not interfere in the things I do." He. Wu Yingliang said, "I naturally do not dare to interfere with what Great Elder has done, but Great Elder is doing something wrong, so as an elder of the Yuan Yang clan, I must intervene." Yang Wanu's face was filled with anger as he said, "Right now, Yuan Yang clan is a time for servants. The blood vein talent he displayed just now is enough to prove everything. Since the sect rules are set by the people, they can naturally be changed. They are a rare talent, they will make our Yuan Yang clan stronger." Wu Yingliang said, "I saw that big-sized man's blood vein talent, it's indeed not bad. Even if it's normal to make an exception for him, I would still agree with him. But what about him?" A few elders looked at Long Fei. At this moment, everyone looked at Xiong Long Fei. The big-size man had high blood vein inherent skill, which was enough to cover everything up, but what about Long Fei? Level 0 blood vein, this kind of person has no future at all. Niu Dashan immediately said, "My lord is invincible, if I don't let him in, I won't either." Wu Yingliang laughed, "Great clan elder, you can't possibly say that he is the genius of holy vein, right? To make an exception for a lowly slave, great elder, are you scheming something?" Yang Wanu's eyes turned sinister. "Ha ha ha." Wu Yingliang laughed out loud, stared at Long Fei and said, "Brat, not everyone in Yuan Yang clan can join, your status as a slave is even more impossible. If you want the great clan elder to make an exception for you, then why don't you take out the potential of your holy veins talent as well? Ha ha ha. If you can't take it out. Humph." Wu Yingliang's expression changed, and he shouted coldly, "Killing the disciples of Yuan Yang clan, you must leave your life here." His eyes were filled with killing intent. At this time, Lai Yang laughed complacently, "Long Fei, you still won't be able to escape death today, ha ha ha. How is it? Go check. Go and verify. You useless level 0 blood vein." Long Fei's expression turned sinister, anger roiling in his heart. It's just that, his blood vein level. Chapter 1179, Let Me See Your Power. Chapter 1179, Let Me See Your Power. He was very clear that he had devouring veiness in his body. But he did not know what the level of devouring vein was. Just now, the Blackstone's examination results showed that it was level 0. This made him think that his own level was still too low and could not be detected by the Blackstone. He thought to himself, "Forefather, I'm going to be killed by you. What unique and unparalleled." Long Fei looked at the points, wanting to exchange for a holy vein, but there were simply not enough points, not even enough to exchange for 5-star blood vein. "Kid, go and verify." "Let's go and verify it again." "Aren't you very arrogant? Your brothers are all holy vein, you should be a stronger blood vein, go and verify." The surrounding people shouted loudly. Seeing that Long Fei had not moved for a long time, more and more people became arrogant, wanting to see a joke from Long Fei. The result of the test just now was very clear. Long Fei's blood vein inherent skill was level 0, which means he doesn't have any blood vein inherent skill. Wu Yingliang only poked at Long Fei's weakness because he knew this. Since the blood vein were given to Niu Dashan, there would not be a second holy vein on Long Fei's body. If he did not have a holy vein in his body, he would not be able to walk out of Yuan Yang clan today. When the time comes, and we see Yang Wanu's actions again, this way we can prove his deduction. Wu Yingliang laughed complacently. "Brat, you better hurry up, is there any use in delaying for time? If you are not a gifted vein, then you will have to die here today." Yang Yu grabbed Long Fei's arm and said loudly, "You guys clearly knew that his blood vein inherent skill was level 0. Interesting. Of course it's interesting. We just want to see him make a joke of himself. Just a mere slave who came to the Yuan Yang clan to behave atrociously, you think you are invincible after defeating a few disciples, but now you are." Lai Feng said loudly. Lai Yang also sneered, "Little junior sister, Slaves do not have the qualifications to enter the Yuan Yang clan. Elder Wu has made an exception for him, but he still has to show his true abilities. You'd better stay away from him. It's not good to have too many connections with a slave. Yang Yu stared at Lai Yang and said, I don't care, he's someone that I invited, no one is allowed to kick him out. Ouch. Wu Yingliang sneered and said, Great clan elder, your daughter is truly amazing, shouldn't you discipline her? If you don't teach me, I'll do it on your behalf. Yang Wanu's gaze darkened as he said to Yang Yu, you can leave. Yang Yu instead grabbed even tighter and said, Father, these people are obviously targeting him. They clearly know that his blood vein talent is 0, yet they still want him to test them. Is this proof? Isn't he proving enough? Lai Yang, he defeated all the disciples you recruited, isn't this the best proof? Also, he defeated everyone in Water City. Isn't that proof? 1 month ago, he was only a yellow rank level 1. Now, he is only a black rank level 1. Isn't this proof that he was able to break through a great realm in such a short amount of time? How do I prove it? Yang Yu anxiously said to her father, Father, he is really strong, very strong. His potential is enormous, and is able to help our Yuan Yang clan tide through this crisis. Many people were shocked. Everything was shocking. Especially after breaking through a great boundary in just a month's time, even an extreme genius wouldn't be able to accomplish that. What sort of speed was this? This was flying. However. But no one believed Yang Yu's words. Little junior sister, other than today's incident, who would believe what you're saying? What you are saying is completely a fantasy. Do you think that someone would be able to break through a great realm within a month without the help of the blood vein's inherent skill? Is there? Do you really take us for fools? They obviously knew about Lai Yang, but they didn't say anything. It even attracted the ridicule of the people from the martial arts arena. Yang Yu, aren't you a little too greedy? To actually protect a slave, what is your relationship with that slave? You wouldn't be having an affair with him, would you? The more he said, the more unpleasant his words became. Yang Yu stomped his feet in anger. Yang Wanu said with a heavy voice. Enough. His voice crushed the entire martial ring, and it suddenly quieted down. Yang Wanu looked at Long Fei and said, Go and test the blood vein's inherent skill one more time. If it's still level 0, then you go down the mountain and leave the Yuan Yang clan. I will assure you that no one will dare to stop you, and no one will ever dare to touch you. The voice was very heavy. They exuded a powerful and majestic aura. Wu Yingliang sneered in his heart. Let him go. Yang Wanu, your imagination is so beautiful. Did he leave? Yang Yu said, Father. He already tested them just now, what else should I test him for? Furthermore, I can't let him leave the Yuan Yang clan, so I can give it to the Yuan Yang clan. Shut up. Yang Wanu glared at him. What Long Fei had done today was too arrogant. He had killed so many talented disciples, offended even the inner and outer sect elders, and the more important reason was that he had angered Lai Yang. Yang Wanu was more clear than anyone else about the identity of this disciple. Even if the sect leader saw him, he would have to be polite because the power behind him was too terrifying. Yang Wanu looked at Long Fei. There was nothing he could do. It was very dangerous for Long Fei to stay in Yuan Yang clan. He might as well leave the mountain behind. Niu Dashan immediately said, Boss, these people are bullying you. A mere Yuan Yang clan, if he doesn't join, then he won't. What's so amazing about that? Let's go. These people all wanted to see Long Fei become a joke. None of you can leave without testing the blood vein, Wu Yingliang said coldly. Next. All of the disciples stepped forward as their fighting spirit soared. F***CK, so what if I fight? Your elder is not afraid of you. Niu Dashan's eyes opened wide, he retreated, and his chi burst out. Fight? He definitely wouldn't be able to beat her. After all, this was the Yuan Yang clan. Just one of those elder of inner house was enough to make the two of them lie on the ground and not be able to move. Moreover, Long Fei's cultivation had been suppressed by the absolute heaven palm and seal, but the primal impulse in his body had always been, as a wave of idea S continued to move towards him, allowing him to absorb the black stone's energy. After Nyo Dashan dropped his king bull's blood, this kind of idea became even more intense. The glow from the black stone became even more blinding. What was it? Huff. Long Fei took a deep breath. He couldn't say it in his heart, but he had to do this. And then Long Fei strode forward with a big stride, his heart secretly sank, and said, "You've always been enticing me, then let me see just what kind of power you're hiding." Chapter 1180, Soaring Through the Level of Blood Vein. Chapter 1180, Soaring Through the Level of Blood Vein tempting him. It was like a girl stroking his thigh. She moved around his thigh and gently rubbed his thigh, continuously luring his most primal desires. But now, he couldn't hold it in any longer. Long Fei walked in front of the black stone and exhaled deeply. Yang Yu held on to Long Fei and said, "Don't test it, the test results will only make them laugh at you. Stop wasting time. Do you dare to test it? A level 0 blood vein. If we test it again, it might become a 1-star blood vein." Ha ha ha. The surrounding people mocked him. They just wanted to see Long Fei become a joke. He was disdainful towards slaves. At this moment, they were just like spectators in a beast battle arena. Long Fei was still that slave, the target of their mockery. Hurry up and test them. Hurry up. Kid, don't waste time. Nyo Dashan roared angrily, "What are you shouting for? Wake me up again. Boss, let's kill our way out." He did not want Long Fei to be mocked again, and he would rather be the one being mocked. Lai Yang laughed proudly, "Level 0 blood vein, test again, and be mocked again. Slaves are slaves, you can only be amused by others, ha ha ha." Wu Yingliang also laughed. At the same time, he kept paying attention to Yang Wanu's expression. His goal was not Long Fei, his goal was for what did Yang Wanu know, and whether or not Long Fei really had the things Yu Qianquan had brought back. Hurry up. It can't be. The crowd burst into laughter. Long Fei let out a light breath. Seeing the light flashing in front of him, he placed his hands on it and thought, "Come. What is he doing? What is this kid doing? I'm asking you to test your blood vein, not your dog claws. Why did he put his hands on it? Very strange." Even Yang Wanu couldn't understand what Long Fei was trying to do. The test to detect blood vein should be to refine a drop of blood essence into it, but what the hell was going on with just putting his hands up? The instant Long Fei placed his hands on it. In that instant, Long Fei's body felt like it was being sucked in by a powerful force. To be exact, it was as if the black stone had been sucked in by Long Fei's body. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Violent booms continuously sounded out in Long Fei's mind. As the heavenly thunder rumbled, waves after waves of powerful blood vein energy was absorbed into his body. Moreover, in that moment, the powerful blood vein energies were instantly transformed. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, 5. Buzz. Once the system beep fell, the blood-colored particles in the sea of consciousness fell, causing Long Fei's blood veins' power to become stronger. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei, devouring vein god. Current level, 6. Buzz. Ding! Ding, ding. Yuanyang clan was established a few thousand years ago. In these millions of kilometers, the absolute hegemons, in this domain, the powerhouse comes from the Yuanyang clan. Those powerhouse had all tested the blood vein's inherent skill before. There were holy veins and also trash blood veins. In these few thousand years, the amount of energy that the black stone absorbed was over 1 million. To an ordinary martial artist, this wasn't anything special. But, to Long Fei who owned a devourer's vein, the blood vein's power that was being absorbed by it was its best form of nourishment. It was simply like a steel mixture, growing bigger and thicker. The powerful idea in Long Fei's body was precisely the idea's idea. At this moment, the devouring vein was frantically absorbing and transforming at the same time. Everything in the world had power, and could be absorbed. However, in the chaos realm, the purest power was the power of blood vein. Ding, 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 ding. The system beep in his mind continuously rang out, as if it had exploded. Long Fei could more and more feel the strong power within the blood vein. The blood-colored particles continued to split open, exploding within Long Fei's sea of consciousness, power converging into it and gathering wildly, bit by bit, becoming stronger and stronger. What is he doing? It's been a few minutes. What the hell is this slave doing? Lai Feng frowned and said, Senior brother, is this guy trying to stall for time? Or are you doing something? Lai Yang also followed up. Look at his body trembling, it looks like he had gotten himself killed. What the hell is he doing? Why don't I go take a look? Lai Yang said slightly, his cultivation has been restrained by the absolute heaven palm, so he can't pose any threat to you. Don't worry. Where's the big guy? Lai Yang said, don't worry, you went up. If he dares to make a move, someone will deal with him. Lai Yang immediately laughed. Understood. While they were talking, Lai Yang then walked over and stared at Long Fei as he shouted heavily, Brat, what the hell are you doing? Now, condense your blood essence and test the blood vein's talent. Niu Dashan glared and shouted, why don't you try calling him out again? Lai Yang said angrily, Dog slave, this is the Yuan clan, not a prison where you are imprisoned. Are you looking to die? The strength of the blood vein on Niu Dashan's body moved. Let's see who is courting death. At this moment, without waiting for Niu Dashan to make a move, a strong pressure came crushing down like thunder. Boom! A loud sound echoed out. Niu Dashan's body bent from the pressure. Wu Yingliang sneered, you ignorant fool, kneel down right now. Zhong Xian frowned. The power of the pressure increased once again. What was Wu Yingliang's identity? Elder of Inner House was incomparably powerful, and even Niu Dashan who had Holy Vein could not withstand his pressure, and was almost crushed in an instant. Crack! Boom! Boom! Niu Dashan bent his knees and knelt down hard. The kneecap broke and fresh blood seeped out from his pants. The pain was unbearable. Niu Dashan shouted, if you have a method, don't use coercion. Lai Yang laughed proudly. Seeing Niu Dashan who was in so much pain, he suddenly took a step forward with his kneecap. It fiercely pressed against Niu Dashan's lower jaw. Niu Dashan spurted a mouthful of blood, his body flipped and fell to the ground. He exerted all his strength and suddenly moved. Before his attack landed, his body sank again and he kneeled down heavily on the ground. Ah! Ah! Niu Dashan resisted with all his might, the muscles in his entire body bulged, the veins in his body curled up like centipedes, looking extremely brutal as forehead was covered in sweat, and with a heavy shout, he shouted, kneel down honestly for me. Bam! Niu Dashan was smashed down once again. Lai Yang gave it another kick, and said complacently, you dog, continue being so arrogant. Niu Dashan's face was filled with anger. However, at this time, Niu Dashan was startled, and muttered, boss. Lai Yang laughed in disdain, your boss? With his cultivation level, he was killed by the seal. It was even easier for me to squash him than to kill an ant. Oh! The corner of Long Fei's mouth raised slightly, and coldly laughed, now try it. Chapter 1181 Suckstar over China. Chapter 1181 Suckstar over China. His voice was ice-cold. He was like a death god. It was right behind Lai Yang. Lai Yang turned around and gave a cold laugh. Try it. Even a waste like you, a level 0 blood vein, is worthy. Not waiting for him to finish. Long Fei's brows twitched, and used one hand to grab Lai Yang's neck, and fiercely smashed him onto the ground. Rumble. Lai Yang was lying in the middle of the pit like a dead dog. With black blood spurting out of his mouth, he stared at Long Fei and said, You, weren't your strength restricted by the seal? Suddenly, he made his move. Everyone was caught off guard, completely stunned by the sudden appearance of Long Fei. Moreover, at this moment, Long Fei walked down the pit with a single step, and placed one hand on Lai Yang's chest as he coldly laughed. It is true that I have been trapped by the seal, but do I still need to use strength to deal with scum like you? Boom. A powerful force exploded from his palm and directly bound the strong wind. Long Fei shouted in his heart, blood vein technique. Suck star over China God, open, rumble. The skill that was triggered by a level 20 blood vein was also a cultivation technique exclusive to blood vein. Suck star over China God. Just a few minutes ago, Long Fei's Devourer's vein had quickly broken through to level 20, and was leveling up using a rocket. Power like silk was inserted into Lai Yang's 8 extraordinary meridians. He continued to absorb the spiritual energy like crazy. Ah! 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 Save me. In just 3 seconds, the sound disappeared, and the blood on top of Lai Yang's head disappeared. Long Fei slowly stood up from the deep pit, and comfortably took a deep breath. It was like a vampire taking in fresh blood. Long Fei glared from between his brows, and said with a heavy tone, "Break for me." Boom, boom, boom. Long Fei released all the energy that he had absorbed just now. This was the power that belonged to Lai Yang. The power of the seal of the Heaven's End palm was instantly broken through. The binding force disappeared. Long Fei's neck exploded with a gidge sound. All of them looked absolutely terrifying. And at this time, Lai Yang, who was inside the deep pit, turned into a dried-up corpse, everyone's face filled with shock. Could it be that Long Fei had cultivated a demonic art? At this moment, he took a step into Niu Dashan's pressure ring, the corners of his mouth curled up as he laughed sinisterly. Heh. Bring it on. Let me see how strong your pressure is. The blood vein power in Long Fei's body started to surge, suddenly exploded, roared out, and sucked suddenly into his palm. Suck star over China, whoosh whoosh whoosh. Asterisk the pressure coming from Niu Dashan's body suddenly disappeared as the strength stripes that could be seen with the naked eye were sucked into Long Fei's palm one by one. He immediately crawled up from the ground with a face filled with excitement. Wu Yingliang's face changed, his body sank, as a powerful energy frantically absorbed the pressure in his sea of consciousness. He had truly absorbed the power of his cultivation realm. It was extremely uncomfortable. Wu Yingliang glared at him and bellowed, "Trash, you dare to attack me. I will let you know my methods." With a flip of his right hand, he chopped downwards. Niu Dashan moved, shouted out, and said, "I'll do it." Its enormous body immediately blocked the attack. Demon Ox's blood vein power burst forth from his body, making him look like a huge raging bull. Rumble. Niu Dashan continuously explosively retreated, blood hanging from the corner of his mouth. Wu Yingliang also kicked a few times, his head seemed to be about to split open, his cultivation level was losing, his originally purple-ranked level 6 had turned into a purple-ranked level 5 in a few seconds, and his cultivation was still losing. He was completely unable to withstand the energy absorption. Ah! Ah! Wu Yingliang roared, "Brat, give me your life." He rushed forward once again. Niu Dashan's eyes opened wide, and once again blocked it. Rumble. Niu Dashan retreated explosively once more, and Wu Yingliang's cultivation dropped to the 4th level of the purple rank, and then another level. Everything in the world could be absorbed. Level 20 Devourer's vein could even absorb realms and cultivation. This was the power of the Suck Star over China God, and this was the exclusive cultivation technique that the blood vein had. Phut! Wu Yingliang stared deadly at Long Fei, and said, "Kid, what exactly do you want?" Long Fei laughed sinisterly, and said, "Don't want to do anything, don't you like others to kneel down before you? Kneel on the ground now." Wu Yinglong stared at him and shouted, "Kid, are you even qualified to make me kneel?" Ah! He rushed forward again. Niu Dashan blocked it once again. Rumble. The two of them bounced away. Long Fei grinned, purple level 3. Wu Yingliang was completely unable to control the loss of his cultivation level and wanted to grab onto it, but he was completely unable to resist the powerful suction. In just half a minute, he had lost 3 levels. To a martial artist, this was even worse than taking their life. Long Fei smiled, "Come again." Niu Dashan wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and said, "Old thing, do it again. The pressure just now was overwhelming, and now it is suppressing again, ha ha ha." Wu Yingliang shouted, "Everyone forward. Kill these 2 slaves." Long Fei swept his gaze across them and laughed coldly, "Those who are not afraid of losing their cultivation levels, feel free to go. I will absorb all of your cultivation level to yellow rank level 1 and I will not be able to cultivate it back ever again. Come on. If you have the guts, come at me. Watch how lousy sucks you guys to death. Everyone was taken aback. They were all frightened. A cultivation base was fate. It was extremely difficult to reach even one level. Wu Yingliang looked at Yang Wanu and said, "Great Elder, help me." Yang Wanu slightly said, "Didn't you always want to prove it? If you can personally experience it, it should be very good proof." Yang Yu laughed. "A mere first stage profound rank being able to crush you, Elder Wu, is this considered proof? If he's trash, then what are you? A waste residue?" Cluck, cluck. Wu Yingliang's head was on fire. Boom. A loud sound echoed out. Wu Yingliang suddenly launched a sneak attack on Xiong Longfei. Niu Dashan's brain was relatively simpler. He didn't expect Wu Yingliang to launch a sneak attack and his reaction time slowed down. He shouted loudly, "Boss, it's dangerous." It was also at this moment. A system announcement rang out in Longfei's mind. Ding. Absorb. There was a small limit to the level 20 Blood Vein S Suckstar over China. It was fine to have profound rank warriors, but Long Fei was also unable to absorb all of the Purple Realm's practitioners. Moreover, one more thing. There was an absorption, and there was an explosion. The blood vein's power could be converted into nourishment for the Devourer's vein, but for other things, they would inevitably absorb the strength of the cultivator right now, causing him to be unable to do anything but explode. Only when there is absorption would there be an explosive burst. Long Fei suddenly flipped his palm, and smashed down. "Trash, kneel obediently on the ground for this daddy." The backlash of power. Explode. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.